circle from all that's stressed. We trust the guardians, trust the guides, trust the open and what's inside. When the moon is high, it's time to fly. Open your mind, let it all unwind. Let's get disenraged, time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. When you feel like you've had enough and the week was busy and tough, you need a break, you need some fun, you need to take time from the run. We'll blow your mind, we're just in time. Seek and ye shall find. Time to unwind, let's get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged. Aliens, ghosts, spirits and shadows, spirituality, ultra reality, the Bible, the pagans, all the conspiracies, tarot, astrology, and alternate history. Open your heart to other possibilities and get disenraged. Time to engage. Turn another page, free from your cage. Get disenraged, 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 disenraged.
What up, Jennifer? Happy Tuesday. What's going on?
Happy Tuesday, Karlyn. What ain't going on?
I just got done my last stream like half hour ago, so I'm still good and in it. Hey, can I tell you, this is kind of maybe related to tonight, but not super related to tonight, but kind of. Do you know how I've been complaining about all of the Pisces hovering around me for months and months and months?
Wait, let me think.
Do you recall about the 3 Pisces that have been hovering around me, driving me fucking insane?
You never mentioned them. It's been so long. I can barely. Let me think. I think it sounds a little familiar. Yeah.
I feel like I've had a Pisces energy victory because I did just the fucking cord cutting of all cord cuttings. And it's one of those things where I didn't just do the cord cutting once. Like I re-upped the cord cutting like over and over and over again and be like, okay, we're really going our separate way now, assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I cannot do with the wishy-washy. I can't deal with the, you contact me sometimes when you feel like it, and then you ignore me, and then you ping me at random, and then I respond, and then you fucking ignore it, and then you change your story from the thing it was last time. I can't deal with this shit anymore. And so I did like the cord cutting on 2 of them. The other one, it kind of like petered away, so I wasn't like actually worried about that. But like on 2 of them, and I gotta tell you, Jennifer, I feel like 1,000% better.
Yay.
And I was like, I feel like I've tried this so many times to just be like, no, go away. Either be a fucking normal fucking human being or go away.
Yep.
So you understand because you were in love with the Pisces. You know what this is. You know the Pisces dynamic. And I'm just like, I can't fucking take it anymore.
Yeah, when I finally felt that release energy, and it took me almost a year to get rid of it. Because it's like my heart wasn't totally into it. I didn't want to have to do what I was doing, but I knew it was best for me. It was like I tough loved myself. That when it finally released, it was just like, oh, what was that beautiful thing that just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly what had happened. It felt like, you know, and I actually don't like doing cord cutting ceremonies and that. Like, I don't like it. I like the idea of like, you know what, even if you've been a dick to me in the past, or you screwed up, or you did something stupid, I'm still gonna hold space for you to not be an asshole anymore. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't actually like it, but it's just like when I have this stuff like hovering around me, it's just like, and I feel like I can't get a handle on it. It's just like, no, we actually need to spend some time apart now.
Yeah.
Need to. And so
Yeah.
like, but like when it released, it was like I woke up the next morning, I was like, it's gone. It's gone. The door. It's like it was just like a gentle closure of like, okay, like maybe like, it's not like, the door didn't slam shut,
No.
right? But it just
No.
closed gently. Maybe it's like still open a crack, but I'm just like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Like it's like the light peering in underneath the door,
Well, it's
more
like
sort of thing.
cutting a rope to an anchor, and
Yeah.
then you just drift away, and it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
bye."
Yeah.
It's much nicer, yeah.
And I have like my energy back, and it's just like, and it's one of those things where, like I said, like I tried to do cord cuttings before on both of these fucking ceremonies, and it just didn't work. For like,
Oh,
I maybe I wasn't really ready to let go. Maybe other stuff needed to happen. I don't know what it was, but it was just like this time it's like no.
Did you have anything around you that was, I call them your penny, your shiny penny, where it's like, do you remember, shit, what was the name of that movie with Christopher Reeves, where he, like, goes back in time and he falls in love with this actress back in, like, the turn of the last century, and he can't have anything on him that reminds him of the current day. So he's going through this wonderful love affair with her, and all of a sudden he goes to pick something out of his pocket and he pulls up a penny from like 1984. And he's like, and it's boom, boom. He time travels right back to 1984.
Mhm.
It's all gone now. And it's, so for me, it's what I call the little shiny pennies, the things that remind me of them that I didn't realize I still had that kept me connected. I've found like a necklace, and then the really trickiest one was like my best friend at the time, who was a Pisces, gave me this beautiful necklace that I loved, wore it all the time. But I smashed it during, I think, the second or third cord cutting ceremony. And then I just still I felt a thread, and I looked in my wallet and I was wearing that necklace on my driver's license picture.
Oh, wow. Isn't that crazy? No, I mean, the situation, like, this wasn't, like, obviously a love affair. Obviously, I'm married. This wasn't, like, an epic love affair or
Oh,
anything.
yeah,
It was
no,
just,
no.
like, people in my life, so I think it was, like, a little bit different of, like, a thing, but, I
Well,
mean,
no, I had
certainly,
a
like
best friend and a love
yeah.
affair. Both of them were
Oh,
Pisces.
I see.
But it doesn't
I
have to be a Pisces, you guys. We're not necessarily picking on
No.
you.
No,
So
well, it doesn't have to be, but you're just one of the most annoying signs, okay? And I'm sorry if you I'm sorry if you I am an Aries, okay? The sign after a sign is the rebuttal to the sign. Pisces comes before Aries because Pisces is the last sign, and then Aries. So I am the rebuttal to you, Pisces, and you're fucking annoying. You know, one of the ironic things is like one of the people in the he's not even actually a Pisces. His sun sign is something different, but he's a moon and a Pisces rising. And so he's got,
oh,
so I call him a Pisces, but he just because he acts like a Pisces, but like that's not actually his son. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I think the difficult thing was like social media, because I would see them pop up every once in a while on my social media.
yeah,
And I was like,
just can't get rid of it. Yeah, it's that
so
shiny penny.
I muted all the accounts. I don't even see them. I'd unfollowed them a while ago, but like I don't even see them. And now I'm like, I'm not going. I have my side of the internet and you have your side of the internet, and that's just gonna be the way it goes. And you know what?
Yeah.
Just is what it is.
You know, the friend
Going-
I had that I'm slowly snipping ties, and I know she is too, because she's not a resentful person, but she is someone who allows the letting go to happen. But she's the one that I took the puppies from, and
Oh, yeah.
so I keep getting her popping up on my Instagram to follow her, and I don't know why. And I can't click on her to get to like block or anything, because it's like it opens up 3 other things, and I'm like, ugh. So I just am sick of seeing her face and her name, and I'd really love that to stop. Thanks.
Yeah. And you're like, is Spirit's trying to say, are you sure? And you're like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm
I'm done.
sure. I'm sure. Yeah. So that's like, and I feel great and I feel good about it. And like,
Good.
there's no like ill will. I don't hate them or anything. I'm just like, they need to keep their energy to themselves. And if they ever want to actually behave like an adult human being, not like they're ever going to watch. Like I talk about this because they will never watch this show, just so we're clear. But like, if they ever want to behave like a normal human being, fine. But if you're going to be a
Yeah.
dick, you're just going to hover and you're going to fucking ping me energetically every once in a while. It's like, no.
Yeah.
We're not doing this spiritual thing or this thing where you message me every once in a while anymore. We're done. We're done.
Yeah. Yep. I'm definitely an all or nothing kind of person, but I'm also the kind of person where we don't have to talk for like 6 months or a year and
Oh,
then
yeah.
pick up the phone and it's like nothing ever changed. You know, because life can be like that. But I definitely want to know, like, if I'm valuable to you, then please let me know that. Otherwise, I'm going to start letting you go because I don't keep chaff anymore. I
Yeah.
only keep the important stuff now. It's life is too short. I'm too fucking busy. I don't have time. So I want things of value and knowing that you are worthy of me and I am worthy of you and we feel good together as friends.
I,
That's what
I
I stand for.
I feel the same way. It's like I have friends that I've known. I have one friend that I've literally known since kindergarten. We went to kindergarten together, and we
Oh,
don't talk hardly ever like anymore at all. But like when we do talk, it's just like, oh yeah, this, that, and the other thing, and, da, da, da. And it's just like you pick up right. So I'm totally the same way, and it's just like, and I think too, as you get older, not that we're a day older than 29, but I do
no.
think that there is something to be said for when you get older. Like, you don't want to be carrying along that shit. It doesn't make any sense. It's not good for you. It just weighs you down. And it's like, I
Yeah.
also think that like some of the things that may have like really like if someone did to me in my 20s what any of the assorted Pisces have done to me recently, I would have taken it much harder than I'm like now I'm just like, you know what, whatever. Like I'm not gonna be upset about this forever. Water off a duck's back. But I think that when we're younger, we take things much more personally.
We have a lot more energy for bullshit when we're younger.
Yeah,
We
real.
don't have that so much, after you turn 29 a couple times. Like you just don't have that so much. You have other things going. You're married now. Some of us have kids. Some of us have other commitments. We don't have time to because when you're young, you're doing like maybe the 9 to 5, maybe you're working 2 part-times. But you have energy to go out, hang with your friends, still gossip, still talk, still have put it in all different directions. You're just an endless little source of social lighting, and almost said socialism.
You're
No,
an endless source of socialism. True.
a lot of them are, but you know what I mean, being social and all that stuff. And I think that just kind of your world gets a little smaller because you find out what's really really important as you get older. And your immediate family, your closer friends that have proved themselves to you over the years, and vice versa. And you know fuck the bitches. I don't have time for chaff. Sorry.
Fuck the bitches.
Fuck the bitches.
Only real things that are gonna
Yes.
like not dick around and do this stupid internet bullshit and like whatever.
Yeah. No flakes, please. I have cornflakes for breakfast. I don't need them in my life all the
No,
time.
no. Do you have any news or updates from last week that you want to share with the class before we jump into our topic?
Not really. I'm kind of firing 4 different rockets right now, trying to get everything lined up for. I still haven't done anything with either of my books because I've been too busy either trying to get my garden ready to plant my plants that are like this freaking tall. They're like 2 feet tall now, and they're starting to bow. They're like, please get us in the soil now. And my poor babies, I raised from seeds. I'm very proud of them, but it's just been raining constantly, and it's just nothing but mud out there, and it's hard. And I still need to rototill get that in. I don't know. I'm just plus last week. It's the last week of the writing contest. We're almost done.
That's fun.
So yeah, and putting out fires and emotional fires from some of the most important people in my life, and that's always a good time. So yeah, I'm good. Everything's fine here.
Well, has there been any fallout around you about the Molotov cocktail incident?
Not here. No, I haven't even been on Facebook in like a week. I'm ignoring everything because I just don't want to fucking hear it from anybody. I can't. I don't have the energy. I got too many
Probably for the
other
best.
fires in the fire. Yeah, well, what's funny is the day it happened, our local news wouldn't cover it till the 10 o'clock slot.
Really?
Yeah, it's like my husband was saying he heard about it on the radio, and we were trying to find it. Fox News was all over it like they do. Repeat, repeat,
Yeah.
repeat, repeat, repeat. And but our local news didn't cover it till the 10 o'clock slot. And they were trying to be like super neutral, and they were very, very specific to film people they were interviewing on site that were Jewish in front of a synagogue.
Yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. See, Jennifer, you're first noticing. How does it feel?
Well, I'll tell you what grosses me out the most is that on one side they're pushing up the Free Palestine crowd. Then something like this happens, and they're like, "Oh, the Jews, and I'm like, both of you suck. I'm tired of all of it."
Yeah. It's all fake. Everything is
I
fake and
love
gay.
everybody and your path. I really have so much respect for it. It's not the people, it's the media is gross, and then the extremists are gross. And the people that caught in the middle that think that they're finally having their moment are just being used.
Everything is fake and gay, Jennifer. That's the way it is. Everything, every single thing. And then it's like this is why it's like not even worth worrying about politics, because it's like, even if I obviously have more sympathies towards Palestine than I do towards Israel, because I think Israel's committing a genocide. But at the same time, it's like the Palestine narrative is fake and gay, and the Israel narrative is fake and gay. And you know what the real tragedy is? There are a lot of people dying that are caught in the middle of this whole thing that honestly just wanted to be able to live their lives and not get blown up by a bomb or taken hostage. And it's like, you know, I don't hate anyone on the Israel side. I don't hate anyone on the Palestine side. I don't want to see anyone needlessly killed or maimed or any of these things. But both of the sides pushing both narratives are fake and gay.
Yeah. The people in charge, the people that are reporting, the people in charge, and then propping up the poor meat bags that are the victims. It's just it's so belittling to life, and it makes me very angry. And so again, I'm very cautious where my attention's going right now, because I'm like manifesting like a bitch right now. So I'm trying so hard not to get caught up in anything too negative, but it's like, well, that sucks. Next, like this.
Did you get psychic too? Did we both get very psychic at the same time? Well, you already went more psychic than me, so
it is what it is. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I have been. And speaking of being psychic, I'm very cautiously peeling back the layers of my energy, because I have been in a very volatile emotional state. So I'm very careful about shooting off those emotion guns, because guess what comes back to me? And I'm about to make a huge life change. I don't need anything bouncing back that's gonna fuck me up, okay?
Only good karma, only good vibes. We are only creating good karma right now. We are not shit talking anyone on the internet. No politics. No bullshit. No drama. Everything is love. We love everyone.
We do. Love and light.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is awesome. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here too. We're going to talk about chakras tonight.
Yes.
Do you want to explain chakras to people?
Oh, sure, why not? So chakras, if you aren't familiar, I'm sure everybody has heard the term, and they're just their energy
source. Let me get up a chart. I should have done this already. Let me get a chakra chart
for later. Yeah,
you got one.
Yeah,
this is the one
for a different thing. It goes with the.
I just want to see the image.
Second video.
I literally just want the image. Why can't I just find a good image of chakras, just so people can know what we're talking about?
Here, let me just send you what I have here, because I want you to bring this up after because I sent you 3 videos. I'm going to send you this. I want you to bring up after the second video specifically, because it talks about people always want to know where their illnesses are, and I think that's always a good thing. So this also, so we'll bring this up later too.
Are you doing this in the private chat? Or Discord?
Discord. Did I just?
Can you just put it in the private chat?
Oh yeah, sure.
That'd be easier for me.
That I actually can put stuff into.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Oh, this is great. Perfect. Present, share screen, window, Bing. Chakras.
Boom.
Explain yourself.
So chakras are energy centers. They are multifunctional energy centers in our body from root to top. And there are more than just these lovely, this has 7 on it. Yeah, so some I've seen have 6, some have 7, some have 12. I heard a yogi today I was listening to. He said that the count that most yogis go with is 114.
Yeah, there are a lot of chakras, technically. Yeah.
So if you look at, say, you've got, and these, you'll notice they follow the spine. Mm-hmm. And also these are your major chakras. You don't have like your major and minor arcana in the tarot. You sort of have major and minor chakras in your body. So these are the big 7 that everybody knows. There are 5 more that are external. And then there are a couple more that are sort of interdimensional. And then there's also within your body, you have anywhere your body bends where there is a joint that creates energy. Movement creates energy. Oh. Energy creates a chakra. Every single joint in every bone where they all meet are. Oh, I don't have my pentagram on. Oh, I'm a fired pagan. Oh my God. Oop, there we go. All better.
No more paganism.
I'm a Christian now. So every little finger joint, these are all little minor chakras. Everything, friction creates energy, and joints, when they bend, anyway. So every joint in your spine, all the way down to the bottom of your coccyx and your knees. And of course, you think about in your knees, you've got like three bones. Well, actually, 4 bones interconnecting there. So you've got 2 coming up from the bottom. You've got your little kneecap, and then you've got your femur. There's like a whole lot going on there. It's a lot of movement. And complex joints like that often are the most problematic, that people have a lot more problems with them. Chakras can be something that work with your energy field, emotional sense of self, your higher self, lower self, connectivity to yourself and others. They also rule different organs. They are elemental. They are the true interdimensional person of you.
So I'm going to say that. So the one thing I don't agree with about this chart is the colors. I don't agree with the colors.
The colors are a little off. I agree.
Yeah. So this is and the one I don't agree with specifically is the third eye and the throat chakra.
Yes.
So that's a little wrong. And what it should actually be is the throat chakra is more of a lighter blue, and the third eye is an indigo. But that's like a minor thing. Everything else is right, I guess.
Yeah. I would say the turquoise color is the color of the God spot chakra, which is not on this chart. And so the third eye is typically more in the purple, dark purple range. And then your crown, I was taught that crown is silver. And
I was taught the crown is that color, that purple violet color, and that starseed is like a silver.
See, and I taught that starseed was gold. So when your silver crown, your gold connection is how I remembered it.
People have said that the crown is gold. I've heard that. I've also heard the heart could either be green or pink, just depending. You could do both or either, I guess.
The heart is always green. The energy of love can be pink.
Well, I've had people do it both ways. I've had people teach it both ways. Like you can think of that color for that specific thing.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. But you know me, I like my rules. Because I think they give clarity. They manage expectation. And if you don't have, like, say, punctuation in a sentence, you may not understand how the sentence is structured. Same thing with this.
Fucking Capricorn. The chakras. Capricorn.
It is for me.
I'm just saying that some people teach it a different way. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. That's fine with me. The way I do it is what I'm saying. I don't do that way. I say it's green, it's green. I like that. I love it. To me, it's healthy. Healthy heart is green. So, but the pink energy, absolutely. I completely agree with that. But I wouldn't go around changing chakra colors. That's what kind of...
I'm not going around changing colors. I'm saying that some people teach it, and we're seeing it even and this is not anything against, like, I believe that this is what the chakra colors are. Red, orange, yellow, more of a yellowy yellow, but yellow's fine, whatever. Green, throat is light blue, indigo, purple. This is what I believe. I'm just saying that people, I've heard people teach it in different ways. And
that's okay. I'm not arguing with you. Calm your roll. You know, I've done a lot of arguing lately. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to say that's how you teach it. Other people teach it, or how you've learned it. This is how I learned it. That's what I'm comfortable with. And I like to keep things in my mind very simple and straightforward, because that helps me manage it better.
All right. Fair enough. So the chakras are important to us because they are the energy centers of the body. We're only probably going to be focusing on the main chakras tonight.
Yes, that and the outer 5, because I think they are something important for us to learn, and they aren't talked about very often. And they do have to do with the one that's like, if you reach your arm above your head, that's well, you call it the star seed. I've heard soul seed. I've heard 12th chakra. Trying to think, or the 9th, I'm trying to remember. But anyway, that's like your soul connection. And then for about anywhere from 1.5 to 4 feet below you is your connection to earth. And so what I like to remind people of is, if you live in an apartment building, you're walking through each other's chakras all the time.
Oh, true. Real.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into the first one.
Cool. Let's do it. Let me get the sound set up here. All right. Everything you need to know about chakras in 13 minutes.
Oh, and is this the one that, this is kind of the kindergarten version with animation, but it deals with advanced topics. It is just the style of this channel. It's very cute, but I thought it was very well the information was well presented.
I think probably the more kindergarten, the better that we could get on some topics.
True.
And thou shalt know the universe and God. Pythagoras, you know, that triangle dude. Today more than ever, the world seems to be in a very disharmonic state. Thanks to modern internet technology, we now have access to all the world's information at our fingertips. And yet, the algorithms behind the mainstream tech we all use only shows us what we're accustomed to seeing, creating social divides the likes of which we've never seen before. If we took an outside perspective on our species though, you might say that we've always been disharmonic. And that's kinda true. In fact, if our esoteric history is to be believed, we've been growing more and more disharmonic for about 13,000 years now. It's in our DNA, and it's something that we're passing through as a species together. There is good news though. We're nearing the end of this paradigm, this karmic cycle of disconnection and suffering. And ideally,
I must
we
feel
will
like we're on the
never
wrong
be here
video.
again. At the moment, we're just not in tune with ourselves. And our
It says everything you need to know about chakras. Is that the wrong video?
No, that looks like it. I don't know why.
They're talking about the collective consciousness.
Fine.
Oh, just roll with it.
collective consciousness is beginning to realize it. The reason for our disconnection from the soul is actually fairly simple. And no, it's not about politics, greed, capitalism, or any of that stuff.
Capitalism!
In fact, all of those are simply long-term manifestations of the real problem, which lies on a deeper, much more personal level. The true problem actually lies in our old way of thinking, creating tension on every level. Right now, as you're watching this video, all of us are going through something of a shift. We are changing into a completely new state of being with a new way of thinking and a different understanding of our multiphasic holographic reality. Today, we're going to break down the concept of chakras.
Well, that was an
like
awkward
you've never seen it
jumping
before.
in, wasn't
A
it?
deluxe
A
special
little
remake
bit.
that
What the
unifies
fuck?
all of our original episodes
missed the
into
beginning
something
somehow.
even greater.
Ah, I like the meditating guy.
If you've been around this channel long enough, or
Why
have
does
seen
this
like
have?
any
Wait, I know what's going on. I now know what the problem was. I had the entire last stream. I was zooming in on the video. I was like, why the fuck is there a black bar? Okay, I know what's happening now.
meditation or spiritual-based movie of the last 10 years, you'll probably know that one of the most central and core themes of many New Age disciplines is the 7 chakra system. Whether you've used them as meditation,
Hang on, I'm sorry. I need to reload this. I messed up when I did the share. It's bothering me. It's my fault.
Man,
that I
know
had it zoomed
thyself.
in. Okay, shit. We get to fast forward a little bit.
Good.
My bad. Oh man.
concept of chakras like you've never
We're
seen
back.
it before.
We're back.
Hey,
A
It
deluxe
works
special
again.
remake that unifies
Yay!
all of our original episodes into something even greater. If you've been around this channel long enough, or have seen like any meditation or spiritual-based movie of the last 10 years, you'll probably know that one of the most central and core themes of many New Age disciplines is the
New
7 chakra
Age.
system. Whether you've used them as meditation
that.
aids or seen them in gift shops, you're probably at least somewhat familiar with the idea. If not, keep watching, or, you know, just watch Doctor Strange and see how it turned out for him. When getting
True.
started with the New Age concept of chakras, first we have to understand the basics of light and color. If you take white light and shine it through a prism, the light will break into a spectrum of 7 colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Aw yeah, Roy G. Biv. You can do this at home with your own prism, or maybe you tried it in science class at school. We familiarly recognize this as
I'm
the
sorry, I
spectrum
told
of the
you little
rainbow,
kindergarten.
or
It
even
gets
more
better.
familiar,
I love it. I
the
think it's
basic palette in
great.
Photoshop. Scientifically though, this whole prism effect and all of the colors it produces are generally called Newtonian colors, and for the most part are the foundation of the visible color spectrum. Now, of course, there are way more than just 7 colors, especially when you get into different wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum and perhaps even different dimensions. But let's just, let's stick with these for now. The thing about color is that each one actually has its own vibration. Red has the longest wavelength and the slowest vibrational frequency, and today we generally recognize it as warm and stimulating. Violet has the shortest wavelength and the fastest frequency, and we recognize it as cool and calming. I don't think I have to describe what happens between these two colors. It's like a frequency change that gets shorter and faster as you move up the spectrum. This basic knowledge, believe it or not, is very important, but we're gonna have to look at some other things first. So what is a chakra? Well, it's usually believed that the word chakra comes from the Sanskrit word meaning wheel, which is partly true, but not the whole story, and we'll get to that later on. In our modern understanding though, a chakra is a wheel-like vortex spinning in a circular motion within the body. It forms a vacuum in the center that draws in energy on a vibrational level and can draw in anything from color vibration to thoughts and feelings of other people that we come into contact with. So in essence, chakras are energy points or centers that run vertically from the top of your head down your spine, or from the bottom all the way up. Think of them like pools of energy in our body. When left to their natural state, they will flow seamlessly, but life is messy and stuff like emotions, abuse, and bad experiences get in the way. And much like moss or algae, it blocks the creek from flowing. Ah, you caught me. I'm quoting Airbender on that last bit. Now, despite how you look at it, there are 7, 8, or 13 primary chakras, as well as over hundreds of smaller, minor ones that are scattered throughout the body along certain channels known as axiotonal lines. We'll cover the 8 and 13 later on though, so for right now, let's stick with the basic 7. As we understand it, your chakras are kind of like the etheric motor of the soul. Not only do your chakras draw in energy, each and every chakra radiates an energy or vibration and governs over a major organ or gland connected to other body parts that resonate at the same frequency. To have balanced and aligned chakras will make you happier, healthier, and more in tune with yourself. When one chakra center is out of sync, it may eventually affect the organs and glands that it's connected to and cause the chakras neighboring it to also go out of sync, causing a chain reaction and many bodily imbalances. A chakra can become out of balance when it is overactive, underactive, or possibly congested or blocked. This is almost always felt on a mental, emotional, or physical level. The benefits to energizing your chakras and learning about them are primarily for our harmony of mind, body, and spirit. Your mind alone cannot nurture your whole being, nor can a proper food diet solve all of your problems. It is through your chakras that you can learn to balance all aspects of yourself, bringing you into a healthier state of consciousness. As we mentioned earlier, each chakra is connected to an organ or gland, which governs over a section of the body. The order of the chakras is generally thought to go from the bottom up, starting with red and changing vibrations in each chakra until you get to violet. However, we've recently discovered that you can explore them the other way, starting with a higher awareness and bringing it down into your body. This is exactly the methodology behind the 7-day transformation, a one-of-a-kind course that has seen thousands of people change their lives and share their stories about it. And you can learn more about that by clicking the link in the description.
I don't know how I feel about that. I know they're selling something, but I don't know how I feel about the idea of like starting at the top and going down. I think you need to start at the, you need to make sure you're grounded first. Otherwise you're going to float off into the sky.
I agree. And I'm noticing more and more recently, a lot of these, teachers, or, a lot of the information I came across that today was starting from the top and going down. I'm like, that's backwards. And it just makes me wonder if this is another way to reorder things and confuse us.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense to start from the top and go down. It's one of those things like, why are you but I do think it's like, when you first get, at least this was for me, like when I first got into spirituality, I wanted to do all the psychic stuff, and I never wanted to. It's like leg day when you're lifting weights. No one wants to do leg day, but like no one wants to do grounding. Grounding is boring. It doesn't, you can't, like, you're not doing anything fun. It's just like, okay, my legs are tree trunks, whatever. They're rooted into the ground. My spine's growing into, it's not that big, so it's like, it's not like a sexy thing, whereas like, getting more connected is kind of.
It's not like getting messages from the beyond, surely. But I think also remember that when you ground, you get messages from below. So you're getting the earth energy, you're getting Gaia, you're getting tree connection and communication. There's a lot more going on down there. I think, like you said, people think it's not sexy, it's boring. It's not, though. I mean, if you know all the things and you give it its place, yeah. Is it like zipping around the universe? No, but we don't always have to do that. We have to start from somewhere. But I agree with you. You want to root first.
And it's also that if you don't ground yourself, you're not going to create anything in the real world. You're just going to be like floating. You're going to be like a fucking Pisces. If you don't ground yourself, you're going to be a Pisces. No one wants that.
Oh.
It truly is profound. Now, when you break light apart, you get 7 colors. These are the same 7 colors that our physical body is tethered to. What would you see if you were to look at a human being through an etheric energy prism? Are we bodies of light? Think about it. Now, not only does each chakra connect to an organ or gland, but each chakra also has a very specific trait. The first chakra is survival and is connected to the adrenal gland. The next one, the sacral, is governed sex or interaction and is connected to the reproductive organs.
Peen.
The third is the solar plexus, power or ego,
no,
and
there was a
connected to
peen
the
on
pancreas,
screen.
Yeah.
and is often cited as being
Alien
similar
penis.
to the Sea of Qi mentioned in Taoist alchemical texts like The Secret of the Golden Flower. The fourth is based in love and connects to the thymus and the heart. The fifth, the throat, is expression and connects to the thyroid. The sixth is called the third eye, which is psychic and intuitive and connects to the pituitary gland. And finally, we have the crown chakra, which is the spiritual chakra and connects to the pineal gland. Although this is debated, and some say that the pineal gland is also connected to the third eye and the pituitary gland with the crown. Now, survival, sex, power, love, expression, vision, and spirituality. These are the 7 traits through which we grow and are at the core of our being and relate to our existence on a fundamental level. Understanding this system and being present with it can help us find out where we're in or out of balance. Okay, so after all that, we know a fair bit about what chakras are now, yet we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of this topic. Let's talk about opening, activating, and charging your chakras. Do you know of a time when you were struggling with your ego or didn't seem to have a heart
No.
or couldn't express yourself in your usual way?
Never
If
happened.
you or anyone you know has a problem or comes off too
Have you
strong in
struggled with
any
your
of these
ego,
traits, the
Karlyn?
reason why could be because of an imbalance within the chakras. As we
Never
know,
happened.
each chakra resonates to a color. Doing something as simple as wearing clothing that matches the color of a chakra
Yeah, I did
can
that
even cause it to resonate.
for a long time.
I remember when I was first learning about this, all of my chakras were closed except for my throat, which was way too open. The reason for this was because my bedroom was painted blue as well as my bed sheets, and every night I would get a chakra boost in that one area. And the reason that something like the color of your room would have an effect on chakras is specifically because everything has a vibration and our environment stimulate us to think, feel, and take action just as much as our own thoughts do. If you don't believe us, just check out our episode on the biology of belief. And if that's not good enough, just ask Google why they spent millions upon millions of dollars testing what colors would compel people to use their products and services more and spend more money at the same time. Now, sunlight is of course our main source and provider of light, heat, and energy. Sunlight itself consists of energies in the form of cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, visible light rays, infrared rays, microwaves, and even radio waves. I mean, let's be real. The sun is just basically constantly waving at us. Haha, ba-dum-tsh. So straight up, lying in the sun for half an hour can give you a powerful energy boost in addition to all of that delicious vitamin D. Our skin loves that stuff. In fact, the practice of sun gazing during sunset or sunrise, when it's actually safe to do, is an ancient practice that was said to bring numerous benefits and skyrocket your ascension process that is attested to by many ancient yogis. Generally speaking, even something as simple as eating food that matches the chakra colors is just as good as well. Seriously, it's believed that eating red tomatoes and apples are good for the root chakra. Eating greens are good for the heart. Could blueberries and eggplants open your mind? At least blueberries. You open up an eggplant and it's like, psych, solar plexus, fool. Does this make you want to eat healthier? However, you have to consider what's in the food too. Skittles may seem like it's good for your entire chakra body of consciousness, but they probably break every chakra considering what's in them. But on that note, if you want to learn more, check out our movie called Healing with Food. Finally, the best way to open your chakras, hands down, is meditation. There are tons of meditations and chakra cleansings out on the web. In fact, we've made one too, and we'll share it with you soon. Sometimes though, it's as easy as just visualizing the chakra in the area that it's in and seeing it open or flood with energy. Buddhist tradition often talks about seeing the chakras as flowers with closed petals and meditating to see them opening and blooming into their full
I've
beauty.
done that.
And finally, another way that you can work with your chakras is through Reiki. See, Reiki masters are people who are sensitive to and trained to work with energy. They learn to move energy throughout their body and connect it and flow it into yours. It's a very amazing process. You may have to ask, But Reiki masters can also typically communicate with your higher self for you and ask you what you need to progress on your path. Reiki itself is growing more and more popular in the last 15 years, so it shouldn't be very hard to find a number of places near you that offer it as a service. If you're serious about this and you don't know where to start, Reiki and meditation are excellent first steps. However, as with everything, be mindful that we don't want to become reliant on external support
True.
just to get by. Reiki can be very helpful, just like a plant medicine ceremony, but not so that you can just go and trash your body the next day saying, oh, no worries, I'm just gonna get Reiki again to realign. If you are getting Reiki, do your best to stay aligned after the session, ideally supplementing your own health with proper food, meditation, and even exercise. Medical science has proven that toxins and impurities, including negative thoughts, chemicals in our food, and other pollutants can influence the body. If these are consistent, then chakra imbalances can manifest, which may eventually affect us on mental and physical levels. Traditional healthcare at this time is unable to naturally or totally alleviate symptoms, especially before they happen. And this means it's up to us to improve our health conditions on our own. We can't forget that we need to take care of our whole being, not just the parts that gain symptoms. And with that, I bid you adieu. But don't worry, because we'll be back again soon for even more chakra remakes in the spirit science journey.
That was a good first video. That was very cute. That was very simple. It explained all the basics. I thought that was good.
I figured, you know, for people who really don't know, you need something very rudimentary.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and he's a little cutie. They have, their channel is full of everything. In fact, I almost chose one of theirs for the Anunnaki stuff we were doing because they had one that was so well done.
Really?
It was just the silly, playful animation and narration that kind of made me go, a little bit, but because the information was so heavy, and they're like, one day, you know, Enki and Enlil, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this.
And we wouldn't have gotten great lines like the House of the Golden Bed and like the stories. I mean, did
And
they tell
biting
the
off a penis?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did they tell the story of biting off the penis?
No, they did
Well,
not.
See, that would have been a missed opportunity then, wouldn't it? Can't have that. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so I mean, keep in mind if you want to get into chakras, it's easy to do the 7 and yoga. I saw someone mention qigong. I love qigong. It's one of my favorite things. It's all about movement of energy. And so yoga, qigong, tai chi, and even just certain breathing exercises. There are a lot of breathing meditations that help move and pull energy, and you get, it's almost like your whole body becomes a lung, and it's very cool.
I hate Tai Chi.
Do you?
I've tried it's one of those things I'm like, I should like this, but I don't. It just does not resonate with me at all.
Did you do the long form or the short form?
I don't even remember. I tried it a couple times and I have no idea exactly what I did now, but I just remember I was like, this is not for me. Like this slow, like it's like I'm too impatient for Tai Chi. I can't do it.
I learned, you're gonna love this. I learned from a David Carradine workout video. Yes.
Really?
It's so 80s. You can find it on YouTube now. I was so happy when I found, actually I have the VHS. That's how long ago I bought it.
Oh man.
And it has his master, Sifu Kan Ewing, and he broke down the Tai Chi routine. He does short and long form, but for the purposes of this, they did short form. And he broke it down into segments and taught you repetitive motions. And then he would narrate it, and they had all of the frizzy hair chicks in the back with their leotards and their French cut freaking it's like they're all wearing like lavender and burgundy. It's so nauseating. And then of course the guys with their really great porn mustaches and mullets, and it's 80s spectacular. And David Carradine is there as well, and it's so good. And David Carradine does qigong in the beginning, and then Sifu Kan Ewing takes over and does the workout. And at the end, he does the whole form. And that's how I learned the original Tai Chi workout and how to do everything. But it is like, it's special. It's so special.
Vin says, I was just thinking about rewatching Kung Fu this weekend.
Oh, Kung Fu
Perfect
Theater.
timing.
I loved that. I grew up on, my dad used to watch it. I got really into it when I was a kid. Love Kung Fu Theater.
Man. So, yeah. Should we go on to the next video?
Oh, sure.
And we're talking this Tai Chi business.
It's not for everybody. Find what works for you. You'd probably like Qigong, actually.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't feel like I can learn anything new now. I feel like I've learned everything I can learn.
You've plateaued. That's good.
I've
In fact,
plateaued.
you've done so much growth lately. It's probably good to take a little breather.
I'm
For
like,
real.
I am like permanently more psychic than I have ever been in my life, and I don't like it. And and now Spirit's like, okay, well, you can take a break. Fine.
Yes, take a break.
You can acclimate. You
Mhm.
can let the energy adjust. You can
have
get
to
used to
process.
having to ground and shield on a whole new GD level because you were dicking around with AI creating rituals for you and you accidentally blew out your third eye.
Well, yeah, you can exhaust yourself, but it's also look at energy work as eating. You don't want to eat and keep eating and eating and eating until you make yourself
It's true.
sick. You
It's
got to
true.
take time off and digest. You need to sleep on it. You need to let your body bring it in and, all the things. Just let it process.
Yeah. But it doesn't work this way. Pot's like, what number am I thinking? It doesn't work that way.
Oh, Bot asked a question earlier about if one of your chakras below is out of balance, does that affect all the ones above or no? And so chakras are independent machines and they can be broken in different, it can be out of order. It's not a chain reaction. It's not like a domino effect. They're independent little vortices. So if one is messed up down here, you can have one messed up here. And you can have 2 or 3 or out of order, and you gotta get them back working, spinning correctly. And but sometimes if they are spinning, so normally people say a healthy chakra goes clockwise, but if they are spinning counterclockwise, it might be to get rid of something. So that might be okay too, because counterclockwise is the direction of dispersal and destruction. And maybe you need to off gas some extra energy that's in there or negativity that's in there. That's how you clear it, and then get it back into harmony.
Yeah, but okay, so all you need to do to activate your root chakra is just think about your spine, like sit up in a chair and think about your spine growing out your ass and digging into the ground like a root. You are a tree with your spine growing it. Like that's all you need to do. Because okay, so here's what I've learned. Because I used to always hate doing root chakra work. Because again, it was like the most boring thing. I wanted to do third eye chakra stuff and create and do all this stuff. And what happens when you do all the stuff up here and you do none of the stuff in the root chakra is you become like one of those crazy psychics that actually looks crazy. Joshua used to tell me about this. He's like, yeah, all the psychics, they're not fucking grounded. That's why they're acting crazy all the time, because they're all living up here. Because their third eye is open as hell and they're completely ungrounded. So they're just like, yeah.
Yeah, they're floating around. Woo!
Mhm.
Yep. No,
Nothing
yeah.
is real.
Think of you can focus on red, focus on rooting, just like Karlyn said. It's a really good meditation to do.
Yeah, we're red.
Yeah, rare red, eat something red. Another thing, now I know like this is really good for your second chakra, or also they taught me it was called a navel. It's also known as the sacral. That chakra and your root really respond to dancing.
Yeah, true.
So just a little jig. Yeah, get some good music on, dance for 5 minutes. That helps activate it.
The sacral chakra is awesome because the sacral chakra is okay, so it's like the sex chakra, but it's also like the creativity chakra because sex is the ultimate creative act.
It is.
So
It's also the connection you have to your parents. It's your first intimacy experience is with your parents. So, and then as you develop it, the intimacy expands to sexual intimacy, and that's how it grows in layers in a way as you grow.
So true. All right, next video. The 7 chakras explained in detail.
This has a kind of a based AI voice, based meaning bassy range, and it's almost a little off-putting to me, but I just love the video so much. So it's a little now we're getting a little more advanced, kids.
I was wondering if this was like an AI video. I was like,
oh
ooh.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
What if I told you that hidden within your very being
It is
lies
very
an
nice.
ancient map, a sacred system of energy centers that governs your thoughts?
I want this AI voice to read my books.
Oh yeah.
I want this is a great AI voice.
Do you know? And one thing I noticed that's interesting that they don't normally have in AI voices is it actually sounds like his mouth is wet when he's talking, and of course he doesn't actually have a mouth. So that took a bit of programming to key that in, and I think it's kind of hot. I like it.
I think it's great. It's like the American HG tutor. True.
Nice.
True.
Emotions, and even your destiny. A system so powerful that when properly understood, it can unlock abilities you never imagined. free you from suffering, and connect you to the boundless intelligence of the cosmos. For thousands of years, mystics, yogis, and sages have spoken of these unseen wheels of energy, the chakras, that dictate the flow of life force within us. But here's the mystery. Much of this knowledge has been diluted, commercialized, or even suppressed. Few truly understand the esoteric depth of the chakras beyond the simplified colors and symbols often portrayed in modern spirituality. What do these ancient energy centers really mean? How do they shape your reality, your emotions, your relationships, even the very frequency of your existence? And most importantly, how can you awaken them? In this video, we will go far beyond the surface. We will decode the hidden wisdom behind each chakra, tracing its roots back to the sacred texts of the East, the mystery schools of antiquity, and even modern science. We will explore the forgotten alchemical secrets embedded in their teachings, and we will uncover the practical steps to align your chakras so you can experience deeper intuition, profound transformation, and true energetic mastery. But be warned, this journey is not for the faint of heart. To awaken your chakras is to awaken your soul.
True.
And once your eyes are opened, there is no turning back. To understand the chakras, we must travel back far beyond modern yoga studios and New Age interpretations into the ancient corridors of time. The first recorded mention...
So I just want to point out here, every single time people say, you're New Agers. Okay. They just said to you in the chakra video, we're traveling back. We are going back into the most ancient of times because that's how old these ideas are. These ideas are older than Jesus.
Oh, yeah. I think they understood like energy systems and came up with polytheistic god orders and pantheons just to explain how everything works. And then it turned into bigger concepts. And who knows what was, true about the pantheons. But the chakra system, that's something we can feel firsthand.
Yeah.
And have always been able to for the beginning of time.
Well, and I also think too, it's like there's something to be said in the ancient world for like there wasn't as many, I guess, like restrictions on these types of ideas. I mean, well, okay, maybe they would burn you at the stake or something in some places, but like, I mean, but like, people
Before
had it like
that though.
Before that, you didn't have people like wagging like this is not, you are going to hell if you believe this idea about astrology.
Yeah.
It's like how do you think they found the Jesus in the manger? It was the stars. It was astrology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is ancient knowledge because it is part of our makeup. So yeah.
Of the chakras comes from the Vedas, some of the oldest spiritual texts known to humankind, written over 3,000 years ago in the language of the gods, Sanskrit. These texts spoke of an intricate energy system that coursed through the human body, mirroring the divine architecture of the cosmos itself. The sages who composed these hymns were not...
I once had a conversation with someone, this just made me think of it. I once had a conversation with someone who was talking about how they knew someone who had a near-death experience, and they went, like, when they went into, like, the white light or whatever, when they had their near-death experience, they saw their grandmother, who had obviously, like, died before them, and the message they came back with was, the Buddhists have it right.
That is beautiful.
Can you imagine like this old like Christian girl was like the Buddhists figured it out, bro.
Did they know, like, did they say what religion their grandmother was?
I don't honestly remember. It was a long time ago, but I remember that it was like they were surprised by it.
That's fucking perfect. I love it.
Not mere scholars, but seers, rishis who had transcended the limitations of the physical world to witness the flow of prana, or life force, firsthand. But the true depth of chakra wisdom was encoded within a later text, the Yoga Upanishads, and more famously, the Tantric traditions of India. Here, the chakras were described as vortexes of energy, each governing different aspects of human consciousness, from our most primal instincts to our highest states of enlightenment. They were seen as gateways, not just to health and vitality, but to states of transcendence where the soul could break free from the wheel of karma and merge with the divine. Yet the concept of energy centers did not remain confined to the East. Across the world, ancient civilizations spoke of a hidden anatomy within the human body. In China, Taoist masters mapped out the Dantian energy centers, strikingly similar to the chakra system,
That's supposed to be
harnessing qi
Dantian.
through acupuncture
Oh.
and qigong.
Dantian.
The Kabbalists of mystical
Oh yeah,
Judaism.
this is actually important. Look at this. It's not. There are all these different like systems, like
Yeah.
the Taoists in China, like acupuncture. I used to do acupuncture all the time. I love community acupuncture centers, even though I now understand them to be communist. But I didn't understand them to be communist when I was using them for like $20 for an acupuncture. Have you ever been to a community acupuncture center where it's like, at least the ones here, and I think this is like, there's like a network nationwide of these things. It's basically like a giant room with a lot of easy chairs, and you
Oh.
go in and you wear like loose clothes or whatever, and you just lay down in an easy chair, and an acupuncturist comes over and is like, okay, what's your problem? And then they
Oh.
put in whatever needles based on what, and then you just lay there for as long as you want. You can
Oh
listen
my
to
gosh.
music, and they dim the lights and they just leave you alone. And there were so many times I used to go when I was I did it heavily when I was marathon training. I would go multiple times a week, and it was
Oh,
just like,
wow.
it was so awesome. It was so great. It was like
I've
$20.
I've had very few good acupuncture experiences, but because the 2 ladies that I went to, I really need to go to an Asian gal, because the 2 ladies I went to were white, American trained, and had no idea what Reiki was. And so when I said, "I'm
Oh.
a Reiki master, have you worked with one before?" Because our shit runs a little different. It's a
Mhm.
lot more intense than your average human motor. And so the first one was like, "No, I haven't." And she just started sticking shit in when she got to one of my meridians and hit it sideways. And I just went, I'm like, "Get it out, get it out, get it out." I'm like, I'm like, "I am a super highway for energy. Be gentle with me." And so
Mhm.
yeah, the second one was much, much better. I trusted her a lot more, and she would hit things that hurt, and then she would sense it too, because she was sensitive to it. And she'd go, "Oh, I know what I have to do here." And she'd remove the needle, she'd put it in a different place, make an adjustment, and then it was fine.
Oh wow.
She also did like the thing where they burn the incense off of it, like they put a needle
Yup.
that has incense on it. That I loved. That was my favorite thing. And then they cupped me too. Have you ever been cupped?
I have been cut. That's legit. Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah. Get a big ass bruise on your back if they do it
Oh, fixed.
wrong.
Yeah, my husband did not believe me. He's like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "It's cupping." He's like, he thought I cheated on him. He was really upset. I'm like, "Honey, I had to pull up a video." I'm like, "This is what cupping
Like,
does." He's like, why would you do that?" I'm like, "Because it's awesome."
how big do you think the guy's mouth was, honey?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
the cups are like not that the cups, I mean, they're larger than what the mouth is gonna do, is all I'm gonna say.
yeah, I know. I think he thought it was some weird sex thing. I'm
Oh,
like,
he thought you were getting hit or something?
it's some,
Like,
well,
psh.
yeah, yeah, something like that. I don't know.
We're not gonna talk about that anymore. Okay, moving
It
on.
was funny though. It was really funny. It worked out well.
Yeah. Also notice they're gonna talk about Kabbalah, and I just wanna know, just because the Jews are using it doesn't mean it's bad. It means they're accessing energy and we need to access it too, okay? We all have access to the same thing.
Tree of Life and Kabbalah stuff is really, really cool thing, a really cool thing to get into.
I don't
Do
know.
it in a healthy and balanced way. There's a dark side to it, just saying.
I once talked to someone who's like an expert in critical race theory, like the philosophy of it, not the practical, but the philosophy of it. And this person started messaging me like a couple years ago, and started me like, she was doing this deep undercover thing into like, she was really going into like she was tracing back the roots of the philosophy of critical race theory. And she DMs me and she's like, "Karlyn, every single time I go back with this, I end up in the same place, and it's all Kabbalah." And I was like, "Are you telling me that critical race theory, the origin point, is the Kabbalah?" And she's like, "Yeah." And now, like a year later, she's basically like a neo-Nazi on Twitter. She's not like a neo-Nazi. She's not a neo-Nazi. She's not that bad, but she's very, very dissident right-wing now. And I was like,
Whoa.
oh, what did you find?
Oh my, yeah,
because she was
seriously.
never like this before. Now she's connected with all the Groypers. They've corrupted her. Like all this. Yo,
Oh my goodness.
we love Jews here, though. All Jews are welcome. No anti-Semitism allowed.
No anti-Semitism.
No anti-Semitism.
We're
No,
talking about
s'il
the
vous plaît.
spiritual side of things here, not the political side.
No bueno.
Energy centers, strikingly similar to the chakra system, harnessing qi through acupuncture and qigong. The Kabbalists of mystical Judaism described the Sephirot, a tree of divine energy that eerily parallels the chakra system. In ancient Egypt, initiates of the mystery schools spoke of energy centers that aligned with the spine, activated through sacred rites in the temples of Karnak and Luxor. Could it be that all these traditions were drawing from the same universal truth, encoded in different cultures and languages? If so, why has this knowledge been obscured, dismissed, or even deliberately hidden? Some believe that understanding the chakras, truly understanding them, grants an individual profound control over their reality. It is said that ancient rulers, secret societies, and even religious institutions sought to guard this knowledge, fearing what would happen if the masses awakened their full energetic potential. After all, a society of enlightened beings is difficult to control.
Yeah, true.
And so the
Real.
knowledge of the chakras faded into myth, buried beneath dogma and misinterpretation. Only in recent centuries has it resurfaced, yet much of its original depth remains lost. But today,
I sometimes wonder if the New Age movement is like a psyop to make all this spiritual stuff look ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not all New Age stuff is bad. I'm not trying to make it seem like so, but you have to admit that like some of it is ridiculous.
Well, it did definitely kind of attract some weak-minded people that just needed something to make them feel better. And it does look ridiculous because of them, and often they're the ones that are the loudest mouthpieces.
Yep, of course they are. Yeah.
So I mean, and we've seen that in many other things as well. So
That's
yeah, you
true.
may not be wrong, but it may have started with good intentions and got utilized for, very possible.
It's probably the CIA's fault.
Everything's the
They
CIA.
didn't want people to have access to this information, so they made us all look ridiculous. Like every other group with accurate information. They're like, we're gonna make you guys look like the most extreme possible versions of this, but we're gonna make you look extra fucking loopy.
Yeah, and then they charged up the Christians, told them all it was devil worship on the other side, so we get it for both ways.
Fucking CIA every time. Ruins everything.
Today we reclaim it. Today we pierce the veil and reveal the truth. Now that we understand the history and significance of the chakras, it's time to dive deep into their mysteries, starting with the very first, the root of our existence. The root chakra, Muladhara, the foundation of existence. Imagine standing at the base of a colossal ancient tree, its roots twisting deep into the earth, unshaken by wind or storm. This is the energy of Muladhara, the root chakra, the foundation upon which your entire energetic system is built. Located at the base of the
that's pretty.
spine,
Here,
Muladhara
pause this real
governs
quick.
survival,
Okay.
security, and primal.
Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of intoning?
Intoning. No, I think I've heard of it. I don't know what it is though.
It's a form of meditation. So people who have a hard time quieting your mind, or aren't sure how to go about meditating through your thoughts, intoning is often a really nice way to do that. And you can
Is
do
it like
that's a form of intoning. That's the
Yeah.
Om is your crown chakra.
got it.
So this one is Muladhara. Now you can do it with, let me see if I have the other.
This
Yes.
is kind of like the basis of like the sound healing stuff too, right?
Yes, can be. And you can intone with either the Vedic sound, the Vedic names, or the sound of the chakra. So for your root, it's Muladhara. So you can start low. You have to go low, 'cause it's as low as you can because it's your root. So you go Muladhara.
Yo, I just felt that in my root chakra, Jennifer. Fuck
Yeah.
you. With love.
You take a deep breath, and it takes the whole breath to let the word out one time. Then you take another and you do it again. The let's see, the chakra sound. So like the Om is your crown, your root is Lam. So you would go Lam for a whole breath. And then you can bring it up one, Vam, and you go up a whole octave.
I'm not kidding. My chakras are buzzing when you're doing that. Wow.
I'm good at a few things.
That was real though.
Nice.
Instincts. It is the force that
I'm gonna
kept our
I've never done this before. I'm gonna try to find a sound healing meditation after that. I want to know if other things can do this too.
Oh, do an audio bath with like crystal bowls or healing bowls. It's wonderful.
I did that when I was in Sedona one time, but I wasn't as open then as I am now, and I feel like it would be like a completely and I liked it. Don't get me wrong, like it felt really cool then, but I feel like it would be next level if I did it now.
Oh God, yeah. You probably feel every vibration in more, like more ways than you've ever felt them.
Oh my.
ancestors alive. The raw energy that makes you fight, flee, or stand your ground. When balanced, you feel grounded, stable, and unshakable in the face of life's storms. But when blocked, it breeds fear, anxiety, and instability, like a tree with shallow roots, easily toppled by the winds of adversity. In the esoteric traditions, Muladhara is symbolized by a four-petaled lotus, representing the four states of human consciousness: mind, intellect, ego, and subconscious. It is said that awakening this chakra unlocks the primal Kundalini energy,
Does
the
it
sleeping
ever?
serpent coiled at the base of the spine, waiting to ascend. But be warned, an overactive root chakra can make one obsessed with materialism, power, and greed, anchoring the soul too deeply into the physical realm, trapping it in the illusion of Maya. So,
This is actually a really important point. Like your chakras can be, it's not just like they can be closed off, they can also be overactive.
Oh,
which
yeah.
means like you're like it said, it's like you're not just grounded, you're like obsessed with material things in the real world. Or if you're like super psychic, if you're third eye chakra, like you're like obsessed
Yeah.
with this and just like letting everything else go and not paying your bills and stuff like that.
And out of balance, sacral will give you a sexual
Sex.
addiction.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. I wanted to touch on Kundalini a minute. Have you heard of the golden snake? There's a meditation I learned called the golden snake, where you uncoil your Kundalini
No.
and you envision it's a beautiful golden snake, of course, and you envision it crawling up your spine, the way your spine curves, and it assumes the shape of your spine and rests its head in your head.
Wow.
And then you let it flex, and it'll align your back and your chakras. And I got rid of my back pain and neck pain by doing that at night.
Really?
Yep. You just imagine, how they're all ribs, so
Yeah.
they flex. And then and every now and then my body would just twitch or something, and then I'd feel an adjustment. And then I learned how to sleep properly, and so I wouldn't get neck pain as often because I was sleeping really, So, but yeah, it's a wonderful meditation, so healing. It took me, several nights because the healing work takes time. And so you want to let it do its job. I mean, you take an aspirin, it still takes 2 hours for it to kick in, so let it work, let it do the work. But I got rid of it. I had neck pain for months. It was just almost crippling, and I got rid of it that way.
Wow. Crazy. I'm gonna have to try that.
It's beautiful.
how do we balance it? Through grounding practices, walking barefoot on the earth, meditating with the mantra Lam, or connecting with the element of earth through nature and stillness. The sacral chakra, the well of creation. Picture an ancient temple, its walls adorned
well
with
of
sacred
creation.
paintings depicting cosmic dances, swirling waters, and figures
Like
in
the
ecstatic
womb.
motion. This is Svadhisthana, the sacral chakra, the seat of creativity, passion, and sensual energy. Located just below the navel, Svadhisthana governs our ability to feel pleasure, express emotions, and create, whether through art, love, or even life
That's
itself. It is the center of desire and flow, symbolized by the 6-petaled lotus, each petal representing different facets of human emotional experience. In Tantra, this chakra is deeply connected to the divine feminine, Shakti energy, the sacred force that fuels both sexual energy and spiritual awakening. When balanced, you feel inspired, emotionally fluid, and deeply connected to the pleasures of existence. But when blocked, it manifests as guilt, repression, or creative stagnation. The great mystics believed that unlocking this chakra transforms raw desire into divine creation, just as the waters of the universe gave birth to existence itself. To awaken it, one must embrace movement, dance, express, and connect with the element of water. The mantra VAM vibrates at its frequency, breaking through stagnation
Mantra,
and
that's the
restoring
word I was
flow.
looking for. The name of the
The
chakra and then
solar
the mantra
plexus
of the chakra.
Manipura, the fire of the soul. In the
Manipura.
heart of every great civilization, there was always fire. Fire to forge metal, fire to illuminate temples, fire to drive away darkness. This fire exists within us all, Manipura. The solar plexus chakra, the very core of our willpower and personal power. Situated above the navel, this chakra is the sun within us, radiating confidence,
Oh, I like that.
determination, and vitality.
The sun within us. Okay, legit.
It is the domain of warriors, leaders, and those who command their own destiny. In ancient esoteric schools, Manipura was revered as the seat of transformation, the place where raw instincts evolve into directed action. When in balance, it gives inner strength, resilience, and an unstoppable force of will. But when blocked, it breeds self-doubt, insecurity, and a loss of personal power. To ignite this inner fire, one must harness breathwork, sun exposure, and the mantra RAM. It is through discipline, courage, and self-mastery that Manipura shines at its brightest. We have now climbed halfway up the sacred ladder of the self, but beyond the fires of willpower lies something even more profound, the bridge between the physical and the divine. Are you ready to step into the realm of the heart chakra and beyond?
Ooh,
The
that's
heart
pretty.
chakra, Anahata, the gateway to the
Okay,
divine.
stop there real quick.
Imagine a
Okay,
sacred
hang on.
bridge.
Go ahead.
So the first 3 chakras, this is why he was like, "Are you ready to?" I have a new microphone cover coming in 2 days, and I cannot freaking wait. I'm so tired of this. Sorry. Anyways, so the first 3 chakras are survival. They're all keyed for survival. They're the first 3 chakras that activate when you're born, and it starts with your survival instinct in your root, and then your connection with others and intimacy in your sacral, and then it goes into your energy chakra. So those 3 are all keyed for survival. After that, then you develop your ability to love and receive love, compassion, which is not something that happens till you're a little older. And then your expression, you're learning how to talk and how to express yourself and how to listen, which that comes much later. Ask any teenager or parent of teenagers. And then, of course, your intuition and a sense of higher self. And this all develops as you grow. Some people get stunted in the survival chakras, especially if they have massive trauma when they're children. So those other chakras might be dimmer or less well developed because they're so stuck in fight or flight mode, energy or rest, or either they would either go too sexual energy or not enough, or they cannot have intimate connection in any form. So it depends on on how you. But if you're severely traumatized, my heart goes out to you. I understand a lot of that. So letting the others develop is where you are. Now there's an opposite effect, and I kind of fall into this camp where I'm highly developed in my top 4 and not so much in my bottom 3, because my bottom 3 I kind of like started to ignore because it was bringing up too much shit. So my root and I are great. We always have been, because I'm a triple earth. So in my zodiac, no, double earth. Yeah, double earth.
See, this is why you write erotic fiction, Jennifer. This is like that's like a full-on sacral chakra thing.
That was my healing work I did with my
Yep.
dark goddess work, which is why I got into writing spicy romance, because it helped me heal that chakra. Yes. And it's just going to keep going because now I think it's fun.
Exactly.
One that connects the earthly and the celestial, the physical and the spiritual. This is Anahata, the heart chakra, the center of love, compassion, and higher consciousness. Located at the center of the chest, Anahata is the divine alchemy of the self, where lower instincts are transmuted into higher wisdom. It is the moment in our journey when desire transforms into devotion and power gives way to peace. The ancient sages spoke of this chakra as the threshold between the self and the cosmos, symbolized by a 12-petaled lotus. When open, the heart radiates unconditional love, empathy, and deep inner harmony. It is the state of being in true alignment with the universe. But when blocked, Anahata can manifest as jealousy, fear of connection, emotional numbness, or grief. Those who have been hurt often unconsciously close their heart center, building walls instead of bridges. Yet, love is not weakness, it is the highest strength. The greatest mystics, saints, and spiritual masters operated from the power of pure love, understanding that through love one becomes limitless. To activate Anahata, one must embrace forgiveness, gratitude, and self-love. The mantra Yam resonates with its frequency, dissolving emotional barriers. Breathing exercises, heart-opening meditations, and acts of kindness allow this chakra to bloom like the lotus it symbolizes. The throat chakra, Vishuddha, the voice of truth. There is a reason why words shape reality, why ancient mantras were said to hold divine power, why the voice was seen as the key to manifestation and creation. This is the domain of Vishuddha, the throat chakra, the center of expression, truth, and divine communication. Located at the base of the throat, Vishuddha governs our ability to speak our truth, express our wisdom, and channel higher knowledge into the world. It is the seat of the great poets, orators, and mystics.
You know, so Fellium in the chat says, oh, words shaping reality. So there used to be a mantra I used to teach people when I was doing corporate training, which is like, it's like a basic manifesting thing, but I didn't frame it as manifesting. I was like, if you want something to happen in your life, and I think I wrote about this in my first book, if you want something to happen, you need to do 3 things. You need to think about that thing. You need to visualize what you want to happen. It has to be like a concrete thought that you can see that this thing exists in the world somewhere, even if it's just in your head. Once you got a really good picture of it, you speak it out loud. You say, I will do this thing, or I am a person that does this thing. You write it down. You do something to express that desire to the world. And then you go act as though you are a person that achieved that goal already. And so so the mantra is like, think, speak, do. Think about it, speak it into the world, and then go do it. So I tricked people into manifesting through expressing what they actually wanted.
You came up with your own rule of 3, your own spell work of 3.
I think I got it from somewhere else. I don't remember where I got it though, but like, yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, mine for magical work, it's very similar. It's idea, intention, and action. So I have the idea that I want or need this thing, or I want to give this thing, or whatever. I create my intention. I do my spell work. That's the action.
Huh. See, works for everything.
Yeah, buddy.
Words create, and I think people that don't acknowledge this is like why so many people don't understand the left at all. It's like they're defining the words all wrong. Well, guess what? They're defining the words in the way that they want to define it to create the reality that they have a vision for a reality. They're speaking it into existence, and then they're manifesting. You are not, because you're like, excuse me, sir, did you know that is not the dictionary definition of that word? It's like,
yeah. Well, and I believe that's in the Communist Manifesto, is to control the language. You can control the language and create people's realities through that. But also, that all goes, bringing it back into more of a a woo section. That's sort of like why there are magical languages. Latin is considered one of the last magical languages. There are several. And this is why spell work, when you say a chant or spell over a cauldron, is as they envision us witches do, or whatever it is, you can do it over your soup too.
Boo.
Boo. Yes, exactly. All that kind of stuff. Like whatever your intention with those words, but words carry vibration. Sound is very powerful. Form of sound, even more so when it is understood by another mind.
Weave the unseen into words, turning mere sound into profound meaning. But this chakra is also easily tainted. Lies, repression, fear of judgment, all these act as a poison, silencing one's true voice and blocking the flow of authentic self-expression. The ancient seers believed that a blocked Vishuddha leads to stagnation in all areas of life, for when you suppress your voice, you suppress your very essence. To awaken Vishuddha, one must practice honest self-expression, mantra chanting, and deep listening. The mantra ham clears the throat's energy, allowing divine wisdom to flow freely. Speaking with clarity, authenticity, and courage is the key to unblocking this sacred center. The third eye chakra, Ajna, the eye that sees beyond. In the ancient temples of Egypt, India, and Tibet, one symbol appeared again and again: the single eye, gazing into eternity. This is Ajna, the third eye chakra, the seat of intuition, inner vision, and higher perception. Located between the eyebrows, Ajna is the inner gateway to expanded awareness.
Karlyn, do you see that?
It is said that those who activate
In my language, Aramaic, I abracadabra, cadabras.
Abracadabra.
Really?
I create as I speak. Is that real? I'm looking that up.
Yeah,
'Cause I
ChatGPT
know-
that shit.
That's like the silly magician words, right? But if it came from somewhere,
It always comes from somewhere. Always
True.
and universally, it comes from somewhere every time.
see, now it's like it's a form of gibberish. Bullshit. Now I think it's lying to me. It's lying to me. Maybe I should spell it the way they spelled it. Wait, hang on. It'd help if I hit the right freaking button. There we go. Okay, I see the spelling. All right. We're doing this. This is cool.
Ready, Jennifer.
Some think abracadabra comes from the Hebrew phrase abracadabri, which means I create as I speak, while others think it comes from avra gavra, an Aramaic phrase meaning I will create man. The words of God on the sixth day of creation. Wow, that's cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. That was right on.
their third eye see beyond the illusion of the physical world, perceiving energy, deeper truths, and hidden realities that most remain blind to. In esoteric traditions, ajna is linked to the pineal gland, the mysterious light-sensitive organ in the brain that many believe to be the biological seat of spiritual perception. The ancients saw it as the eye of the soul, a portal to clairvoyance, telepathy, and cosmic wisdom. But ajna is often shrouded in illusion. Fear, skepticism, and attachment to the material world cloud its vision, keeping one locked in the limited perception of the five senses. This is why so many fail to see the deeper patterns and synchronicities woven into reality. To awaken ajna, one must cultivate meditation, self-inquiry, and conscious awareness. The mantra Om vibrates at its frequency, dissolving the veil of illusion. Decalcifying the pineal gland through proper diet, sun
Decalcifying the
exposure,
pineal
and spiritual
gland.
practice
Lots of
strengthens the
pineapple.
third eye's vision. The crown chakra, Sahasrara, the thousand-petaled lotus of enlightenment. Above the physical form, beyond thought, beyond identity itself, lies Sahasrara, the crown chakra, the pinnacle of spiritual awakening, cosmic consciousness, and divine unity. This chakra is often depicted as a radiant lotus with 1,000 petals, opening to infinity. It is said that when Sahasrara is fully activated, the illusion of separation dissolves. One no longer sees themselves as an individual, but as an inseparable part of the universe itself. Mystics describe this state as nirvana, moksha, samadhi, the merging of self with the infinite. Time ceases, space dissolves, only pure awareness remains. But Sahasrara is not easily reached. It requires the harmonization of all the chakras, a life of wisdom, balance, and spiritual discipline. When blocked, one may feel disconnected, lost, or trapped in material consciousness. But when open, everything makes sense. The mysteries of existence become clear, and one steps into true enlightenment. To activate Sahasrara, one must embrace meditation, silence, and surrender. The mantra Om attunes one to the divine frequency. Letting go of ego and trusting in the greater flow of the universe allows Sahasrara to fully blossom. The journey completed, yet just beginning. We have traveled from the roots of survival to the heights of enlightenment, from primal instincts to divine consciousness. The 7 chakras are not just energy centers, they are the stages of human evolution, the hidden map to our highest potential. But remember, knowledge alone is not enough. True wisdom comes from experience, practice, and inner transformation. Now, the question is, which chakra calls to you the most? Which one needs your attention? Practical application. Awakening the chakras in daily life. We have traveled through the 7 sacred energy centers, unveiling their mysteries and understanding their influence on our body, mind, and spirit. But the true power of this knowledge lies not in theory, but in practice. The chakras are not just abstract ideas. They are living energies within us, shaping our thoughts, emotions, and the very reality we experience. To activate and balance them, we must align our daily actions with their frequencies. These are powerful yet practical ways to bring your chakras into harmony, unlocking their full potential. 1. Root chakra, Muladhara, stability, survival, grounding. Signs of imbalance, anxiety, financial instability, lack of...
What's that?
So what he's going into now is how to know if your chakras are out of whack. And when this is over, I want you to share that site that I sent you, because it's got a chart. It's got that really nice chart that we were looking at earlier, and it has symptoms. And these are just kind of more, it's not everything. It's not too super detailed, but it's a nice little quick check if you want to know which chakra is blocked and what you need to work on.
Cool.
So that's what we're going to get into here.
I just shared that in the chat so people can find it there.
Okay, cool.
Focus, feeling disconnected from life. How to balance. Grounding meditation. Stand barefoot on the earth, feeling its energy rise through your feet. Physical exercise. Walking, running, or yoga poses like mountain pose and warrior pose help stabilize this energy. Nutrition.
Take off your shoes.
Eat root vegetables, carrots, potatoes, beets, and protein-rich foods for grounding. Affirmation. I am safe, I am secure, I belong here. 2. Sequel chakra, Svadhisthana, creativity, passion, emotional flow. Signs of imbalance. Creative blocks, emotional numbness, guilt, difficulty embracing pleasure. How to balance. Water rituals. Swim. Take mindful showers or drink more water with gratitude. Creative expression. Dance, paint, write. Let emotions move freely. Sensory activation. Engage in aromatic oils, music, and sensual activities that spark joy. Affirmation. I honor my desires.
Yeah,
I
pause there,
embrace my
too.
creativity. 3.
Go ahead.
So when he says drink more water with gratitude, some people will find that very easy to do. Some people are going to think that's a very abstract thing to say. One way that's easy to do it is you take your little water glass and then you just put your hands, make sure your whole hands are touching, palms to tips, and just think about what you're thankful for. And when you feel that you've emptied out into your cup, then you drink it.
There you go.
You're drinking gratitude, literally. I used part of that kind of magic, a little bit of a different form, not necessarily gratitude, but a different form of it in my marriage ceremony, where we charged with our energy, our wine, and poured it in a vessel that swirled it together. So we drank each other's energy.
Oh, cool.
The solar plexus chakra, Manipura, confidence, power, personal will. Signs of imbalance, self-doubt, procrastination, digestive issues, lack of motivation. How to balance. Sunlight therapy. Spend time in the sun to recharge your energy. Breath work. Practice Kapalabhati to awaken inner strength. Personal challenges. Set small goals and take action no matter how small. Affirmation. I am powerful. I take action. I shape my reality. 4. Heart chakra. Anahata. Love. Compassion. Emotional healing. Signs of imbalance. Fear of intimacy. Loneliness. Resentment. Inability to forgive. Out of balance. Heart opening meditation. Visualize green light expanding from your chest, radiating love. Gratitude practice. Keep a journal and write 3 things you're grateful for daily. Acts of kindness. Offer love without expectation. Help a stranger. Listen deeply. Forgive. Affirmation. I give and receive love effortlessly. 5. Throat chakra. Vishuddha. Expression, truth, communication. Signs of imbalance, fear of speaking up, throat tightness, dishonesty, social anxiety. How to balance. Chanting mantras. The vibration of Hem clears blockages. Chant daily. Journaling and authentic expression. Speak your truth through writing or conversation. Singing and vocal exercises. Humming or singing releases stagnant energy in the throat. Affirmation. I express my truth freely and with confidence. 6. Third eye chakra. Ajna. Intuition, insight, higher perception. Signs of imbalance. Lack of clarity, overthinking, difficulty trusting intuition, headaches. How to balance. Meditation and visualization. Close your eyes and focus on the space between your brows. Nature and silence. Spend time in quiet reflection. The mind sees clearer in stillness. Decalcify the pineal gland. Reduce fluoride intake. Eat dark leafy greens and practice darkness meditation. Affirmation. I trust my intuition. I see beyond the illusion. 7. Crown chakra, Sahasrara. Enlightenment, cosmic connection. Signs of imbalance. Spiritual disconnection, cynicism, lack of purpose, existential doubt. Out of balance. Meditation on oneness. Contemplate the interconnectedness of all things. Breath work in silence. The Om mantra resonates with universal consciousness. Read sacred texts. Study wisdom from different traditions. Buddhism, Vedanta, Gnostic texts.
Gnostic.
Affirmation. I am one with the universe.
It's over.
I am infinite.
Can't get away
Living
from
in
it.
alignment.
It's over.
The path of ingration. Balancing your chakras is not a one-time ritual, but a lifelong practice. Each moment you have the power to align yourself with these energies, to live with purpose, clarity, and higher awareness. Which chakra needs your attention the most? 7 gates, 7 keys, 7 sacred forces vibrating within you, shaping the way you think, feel, and exist. The chakras are not just ancient symbols or mystical concepts. They are the architecture of your being, a map to your highest potential. You were never meant to remain asleep. The energy that flows through these centers is the very life force of creation, waiting for you to awaken it. Every time you act with courage, you strengthen your root chakra. Every time you express your truth, you unlock the throat chakra. And every time you choose love over fear, your heart chakra radiates with power. But here's the real secret. Enlightenment is not about escaping this world. It is about mastering it. The chakras do not demand that you abandon life's struggles, but rather that you learn to navigate them with wisdom, clarity, and balance. Now look within. Which chakra calls to you the loudest? Which energy center whispers for healing, for alignment, for recognition? Your journey does not end here. It only deepens. Drop a comment below.
That was a very pretty AI video, Jennifer. I appreciated that.
It's a nice one. I like it. I like it a lot.
It is a
Okay,
good one.
before we get into this, I want to share story time.
Okay, we're ready.
When I got my Reiki mastery, I was asked to read this book. This is called New Chakra Healing by Cindy Dale.
Okay.
All right, it's relatively thick. It is very detailed. You'll notice the subtitle is The 32 Center Energy System.
Ooh.
So I'm going to show you some things. First, it goes into not just the chakras and not just the 7, all of them. You has that book, Lizard? Yay! It's a great book. So I'm going to show this picture. I have another one that's in color that I'll show too.
Oh wow! Look at the hands and the feet.
Yeah, so these are considered these and that are considered one chakra by this lady. But in other, I've heard that like each one still rules a different thing. So, oh, to hell with this thing! I'm so done fighting with that.
It's all good.
But also this here being a connection, and then does it have one on the bottom? Yeah, it has a what looks just like a disc down here. But I wanted to show you. Now, this is something. So I was talking about with like the apartment living. Let me see here. Aha. There's the colors. Here's their pretty colors. So this is like your whole kind of your system.
Ooh.
Make sure I'm showing that
With
properly.
your aura.
Now, this of course is only showing your major chakras. It's your aura. If you'll notice, the layers of it correspond with the order of the chakras from inner to outer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what that means is the chakras are generating the aura in layers. So starting with your root chakra, which is the closest layer to you, moving onward all the way up until you get to your crown, which is the furthest away from you. And then there's more beyond that. In fact, she talks about another chakra that's way out in the stratosphere of your being, because we are energy generators. Now, when they do chakra photography, some of you have heard of that. Some of you may have had it done. Chakra photography is showing the auric layers moving in and out of each other because it's constantly undulating. It's not just your layers, and that's the way it is. You're not a stone. You are an energy field. And what do energy fields love to do? They love to flex and move. So if someone gets a picture and it has lots of red in it, that means their root chakra is very active and it's displaying the most right now outwardly. What are you projecting? If you're projecting a lot of love, you're going to see a lot of green in those pictures. Okay, so that's how, if you're, all the different colors of your chakras, what you see the most in those pictures is what you are projecting the most. Also, I think it has to do with where, if you really want to get into auric field work, it's like where they're projecting. If you're projecting red around your head and orange around your, around your bottom or your chest, maybe green is down in your bottom, and you see all these different, they're just out of order of the chakras. That just means your chakras are communicating. One is nurturing the other. One is projecting down here. One is projecting up here. This is the other thing. 32 chakras of the spine.
Yo. That makes sense if you're doing that for Reiki, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also acupressure and acupuncture. But in what I love is it has, it's kind of too small to see, but there's little pictures indicating what each one is focusing on. And these are organ correspondences, life correspondences, power correspondences, all different kinds of things. So like if you have a bone that's constantly going out of alignment, you can look at this and go, okay, well, which bone is that? What am I having a problem with? Oh, this is my blah, blah, blah spine. And that has to do with clarity. I have been feeling a little, muddled lately. So I've got this clarity issue. Now, if you pop that bone back into place, like via a chiropractor or whatever, that helps kind of realign that chakra. Also, there are 20 spiritual energy centers.
Whoa.
So these all have to do with how energy rules your life, how you affect your life.
What are some of the energy centers?
Oh, let's see. Well, yin and yang, knowledge of good and bad, creation center, manifestation center, your alignment. Let's see, harmony, peace, freedom and free will, wisdom center, kundalini, enjoyment, mastery, forgiveness, abundance, faith, grace, clarity. That's most of it, I think. Yeah.
That makes actually so much sense.
Balance of your polarities.
Mm-hmm.
And then this kind of shows a little bit more of your auric field.
Okay.
So it goes way the hell out. And we are bumping into each other's auras constantly. I think I have the one that has... Please tell me this is the one I want. Oh, this is a figure. Now, this kind of shows how things come in and leave us. It's just a graphic to illustrate how things can puncture in our aura, come into our chakra, and if we don't let them leave, they stick there. Or if we're projecting too much, we might get a little stuck. And there was...
Say something about that. What do you mean by that? If we're projecting too much, we might get a little stuck.
Sorry, I may have said that backwards. Hold on. I told you I was a little between the worlds today.
Okay.
If something is entering us and we don't release it, we don't let it leave, and we're just holding on to it, it's just going to sit there and get stuck. And sometimes you have to process it and release it, or it may not even be yours. You might be picking up from someone else.
Yeah. See, this is what I was getting at. Yeah, I completely am tracking now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it sits there and you're like, oh, that's not mine. Out you go, Exactly.
It's yours now.
Yes. This also takes you through, this is such a detailed book, you guys. Like, seriously, this is something you want to have a notebook and take notes and study, or not if you're not, a Capricorn like me. But it has, it goes through every single one of those chakras in detail, and it talks about the chakras in your little baby joints, your wrists, mobility. It talks about what kind of ailments happen. Like all of a sudden you have a sore back and you're like, I haven't done anything lately that would upset my back. Why is my back fucking up? Maybe you're having some issues with your mental flexibility, or your mental ability to twist and bend, or spiritual ability to twist and bend. You might be stuck in place and you don't want to move forward. So now you got a footache for some weird reason that just showed up. So yeah, and then this also talks about like how the chakras connect to various organs. But
wow.
Also on the palm of your hands and feet is a mirror image of your chakra system. So you might be able to, and this is where a lot of acupressure stuff comes into view, where if, like, some people say, well, I have a headache, and someone goes, oh, well, just push this right here, push it on both sides, and it's like your headache goes away. Well, how come that? Well, it's connected to your crown chakra. It's a meridian. Meridians are like, these are energy highways. Women who have really bad menstrual cramps, there's a spot above your heel by that Achilles tendon. There's a soft spot. If you push hard enough, it's going to hurt anyway. But if it's really hot because you're having a hard time with your cycle, that will help release that pent up energy in that cycle. That's where that meridian goes. There's all, studying meridians is a whole nother bag of worms. So, and then it also talks about the age of your development, exercises you can do to open up different chakras and different systems, how to work with your auric field, and how to protect yourself, all that kind of fun stuff. Trying to see if it's got the ones. Yeah, how to work with your higher energy centers. I haven't read this book in a very long time. Okay, here is a diagram of how a chakra works.
So a spiral.
Yes, ma'am.
It's kind of like a sacred spiral that we might see everywhere in nature all the time, like the Fibonacci sequence.
Exactly. And you'll notice that it'll either draw things to it or it can repel things away from it. Depending on which way it's rotating. That's why clockwise versus counterclockwise is very important.
Dang. What a great book, Jennifer.
Yeah, this is really good. In case you guys are wondering, again, this is called New Chakra Healing. It's by Cindy Dale. She's written over 30 books. This is, I think, the only one of hers I have. But it's really good if you want to, and it goes all into your emotional body as well to help with trauma, with just processing feelings, with how to heal them through chakra and energy work. And one thing, and Cindy did, the reason I'm bringing this up is because Cindy Dale is who we're watching next. She is an energy healer and a psychic surgeon. And what that means is she works, and she's the chick in the blue there. She is
looking unreasonably happy.
Yeah, her energy level in this video was not my favorite. I watched about 4 of them today, or pieces of 4 of them today. And when I saw, this is the first one I saw, and I was like, I'll bet her energy comes down when she has a lower vibration person, not lower vibration as an evil, but a lower vibrational, like more grounded person interviewing her. And I was totally right, because there was a chick who was super grounded. So I'm sure she was either a Capricorn, possibly an Aries. And then there was a man who interviewed her, and she was like way more down here, and it was much nicer. But this lady's a little more in the headspace, a little higher. So they kind of ping off each other. It's a lot of feminine energy, but she's covering the stuff I want to talk about tonight. The other stuff got into way too much of the psychic healing woo, and I don't think we want to get into that territory tonight.
Cool. Well, let's get started. This is about 48 minutes. This is perfect timing, Jennifer.
Yay.
Perfectly timed video, I think.
Woo!
All right.
Hello, you are listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio, your global feel-good radio. Today, we're going to be talking to one of my very favorite authors of all time, Cindy Dale. And this is Karlyn Kerrigan. I'm your host, medical intuitive healer, and Amazon #1 best-selling author. Cindy wanted me to talk about my new book that just came out. It's called Reading the Soul. I'm super excited about it. You can find out more about me and my work at 2 of my websites, KarlynKerrigan.com and UnlimitedEnergyNow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Now, our guest today is the incredibly prolific author, Cindy Dale. Cindy Dale is an energy medicine healer. I've only written 10 books. Cindy has written 27 books, counting. Can you imagine? I can't imagine all the editing. You can find out more about Cindy Dale and her amazing work on her website, cindydale.com. Welcome, Cindy Dale.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I know 27 is a bit superfluous, isn't it?
It is a bit superfluous,
I just
but I'll get
finished
there
my 10th
someday.
and I'm like, okay, now what I write about. But it's so, encouraging to know that we never really run out of things to say, right?
No.
You have 17 more books in you. So get going there.
Get going.
Yeah, get
Okay,
going there,
now,
Karlyn.
There's
Get
lots and
going
lots
there.
of people who
She in
write
North
about the
Dakota?
chakras, who talk about
Yeah, I
the
think
chakras.
she is.
Cindy
She's in
Dale
Fargo.
has written a book
Great.
that's 1,200 pages about the chakras. You want to show everybody the Llewellyn's complete
Her
book of
face, it was
chakras.
great.
So if you think
Oh, yeah, the
you know
Llewellyns,
everything
I saw
about the
this.
chakras,
Oh, I've seen that book.
do
Yeah.
you know all 1,200 pages of Cindy Dale's Llewellyn's complete book of chakras? So this is, the definitive guide to chakras.
A lot.
Now today we're going to be talking
A little
about
excessive,
our
little
5
much.
out-of-body chakras.
I can't fucking
first-
I can't fucking imagine writing a 1,200 page book.
Well, I would imagine a lot of it is like a conglomeration and regurgitation of her previous works.
Yeah.
That she's taken all of like the greatest hits and just went shabum volume.
But
and it has everything
still,
in it. That's a lot.
it's a lot of fucking like like a 400 page book about killed me. Granted, I wrote that 400 page book in like 2 weeks, but it about fucking killed me.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she had plenty of
let's
time.
just start
Yeah.
with the basics because some of our audience may not know what exactly is a chakra.
Yeah, what is a chakra?
Perfect. A chakra is a subtle energy organ or center. So everything about us is made out of energy. Energy is simply information that moves. And we know we have physical organs that work with physical or measurable energy, but we also have subtle organs that are made out of basically psychic or quantum particles and waves. And they manage our invisible subtle self, but they also run a lot of our physical and emotional and psychological self as well. And those are our chakras. They're subtle energy bodies that are able to change physical energy into subtle or psychic and vice versa.
Okay, now we're talking today about the 5 out-of-body chakras. Now, most people who are familiar, who know anything about chakras, usually think of 7 chakras. However, there are many systems, I've studied systems that argue that there's as many as 26 chakras. So how many chakras do you, who's written the 1,200 page book, how many chakras do you think we really have?
I think we have dozens, if not hundreds, to be really honest, because everywhere that you have 2 different kind of energies converging in your body or around your body, you get a vortex and you get a chakra. I work with 12 main chakras, and though 7 of them are the most well-known, especially from the Hindu 7 chakra system, because it can be found more or less in the body, within the spine, emanating in the front and the back side of us. But ever since I was a little kid, I could see 5 additional vortexes or chakras under the feet, above the head, around the body. So it was really natural that when I started learning about chakras, or really started to learn about what am I seeing, that I would start to label what have been called now those 5 out-of-body chakras.
Very cool. Now, so we're going to be talking today about the 5 out-of-body chakras. How can we perceive our 5 out-of-body chakras and where are they?
So let me talk about where they are and intro the how to perceive by talking for 1 second about intuition. Because the way you perceive your chakras, whether they're in or outside of their body, is really different depending on how you read energy. Some of us are really kinesthetic, so we're going to feel or get a sense or kind of sense hot or cold or boundaries to a chakra. Some of us are really psychically visual, like I am, so I see them inside of my mind's eye, sometimes with my eyes. Some of us are verbal, so sometimes we hear them, or we just, label the chakra and then we have a sense of where it is. So however you understand them, I'm going to walk you through them. All of us walk through them so you can get a sense of them. So we have the 7 in the body. And when we step up till about right here, I'm trying to get my hand in the clip, about 2 inches or so above the head is our 8th chakra. So just get a sense of it, or literally put your hand above your head and you'll feel sort of the bottom of a ball. The 8th chakra is the mystical chakra.
True.
It holds all the knowledge about our past lives, potential future, information, about what they call the Akashic records, everything you've ever gone through.
Wait.
So it's a land of delight. And
The Akashic records are literally right fucking here.
It's your access point.
They were right here all along.
That's not where they are. Well, they don't really exist in time and space, but I mean that is your doorway to access them.
All right.
And it's the shamanic realm, and that's the shaman you. We step up one more and we'll see a gold energy center. It's above what you can see, but about an arm's length above the head. And that's your soul chakra in particular. It holds the key codes for how your soul is supposed to occupy your body in this lifetime. So it holds a lot about yourself. Your soul purpose, who you are, what you're here to succeed at, what your spiritual gifts are. And it's a lovely chakra. I mean, think of gold. We think of the heavens. We think of how we outstretch to the skies. And then I'm going to take all of us now down a loop. We're going to go underneath the body, underneath our feet. I can't even give you an example of this while I'm on the computer. So about 1.5 feet underneath the feet in the ground is your 10th chakra. It's typically seen as brown or some kind of earth tones. And guess what? That energy center really does anchor you into this physical reality, into the environment, the cosmos. It also holds the keys and the codes about your ancestry and your relationship with the ecosystem. So it's a really important one about how to be here in a good and healthy way. Now we're going to go out. We're going to go way out. The 11th chakra, which I typically perceive as sort of a rose color, is more like an energy field a few feet around from you. So imagine, if you would, being visual, that there's a pink cloud around you and it gets really congested and congealed around your hands and your feet. This is a really wonderful chakra to learn how to develop because it allows you to command natural and supernatural forces. So those shamans who can change the weather, and I've met them in some parts of the world, or the generals who command the army and they follow, or the magicians who pull a real coin out of the air. Jesus walked on the water, 11th chakra. And finally, there's one that's really unique to each of us. It's the 12th chakra. It's a clear film on the outer bound of our aura or our energy field. And it contains what's really unique about you. I love to guide people into their 12th chakra to find out what very spectacular, unique spiritual gift they hold. For instance, years ago, I worked with a woman and I was doing a reading and she didn't tell me anything about herself. And I kept seeing this vision of a princess married to a prince who could tell stories, and the endings came true. And she said, well, I did marry a prince in a castle, which is really, and she's from America now. And she said, I've written 3 stories for friends of mine or their children, and the endings came true. In fact, a little boy who had leukemia was healed of the leukemia. So we go to our 12th chakra when we want to know what's very particular and lovely about who we are. So aren't those lovely lands and realms that are our own?
That's just so cool. Now, each of these chakras, the 8th through the 12th that we're talking about, what sort of gifts do they provide for us as we open and balance them?
Perfect. So when you're working with the 8th, which is that one, it's black and silver. I didn't say that before, above the head. When you really access that chakra, which locks into your thymus, you're able to do remote viewing, astral projection, soul journeying, conduct past life work for yourself or other people, get a sense of what possible futures there are out there, maybe make a decision based on which one's really going to make the most sense, and support you and others the best way. And it helps us be the shaman. It helps us be a priest healer, able to connect with different realms and different dimensions and different planets. I love that one because to me, that's just magic. I mean, that's just like, oh, where are we going to go today if I access that chakra? The ninth, which is the gold one, quite a bit above the head, I actually use it a lot for healing work. For instance, I frequently have people bring energies of love or energies of healing down through that chakra into and through their body, and it conveys into the system codes of how the body, the mind, the soul are supposed to be operating. I've had clients heal almost overnight of psychological problems, physical problems, because they bring the right soul codes in and then the body adapts. So it's a great healing tool, and it's one I work with very consistently and constantly. So you want to talk about the 10th chakra, underneath the ground, underneath the feet. Let's say you have a genetic issue. Well, you're going to look down there to figure out what it is. Is it caused by an ancestor? Did you inherit something? What's the story about it? Maybe do you need to clean it or clear it? Or you might work with it for allergies, food allergies or sensitivities or EMS sensitivities, because our body doesn't really readily adapt to human-made electromagnetic activity because we're supposed to be natural. But if you can adapt, you can access that chakra in order to do that. So however it is you want to get around and get along in the world, you want to work with your 10th. And the 11th, which is the rose one, that's about commanding, very few people use that one. I think, especially women, we're raised to think that if we have leadership potential or qualities, or if we start to move energies around, we're either bossy or witches. And it's great to be both, is it not?
I am both bossy and a witch.
Let's practice some commanding.
What did you just say?
I said I am both bossy and a witch.
Yeah, sometimes you can be both.
I get so twitchy when people interchange the word bitch with witch. It's just, do better.
They mean well, Jennifer.
I know they're trying not to swear, but it's like interchanging bitch with witch is like all witches are bitches, but not all bitches are witches. But I mean, it just makes me go just a little bit.
We obviously don't want to wish for a windstorm to hurt somebody, but maybe we need some rain in the backyard to grow our garden. Or maybe we need to be really commanding with our dogs. Mine still don't really listen to me, and I practice all the time. They're like, you bring out a snack, we'll listen.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I'm still working on it when it comes to my pets. But we're able to command even tumors to be gone. If
my dog, can I tell you about my dog the other day? Like, he totally rebuffed me as soon as he realized he wasn't getting a bone. And it was one of the, because he's a little roly-poly bastard because we've overfed him on treats. And so, we're trying to give him a little, he's starting to get arthritis in his legs and his heart because he's a dachshund mostly. And so they just get that. And so we're like, buddy, if you lose weight, you're going to feel so much better. And so he's like,
yeah. He's like, lose what?
So he's like, lose weight, fuck you. And then so I was like, we can't give you you just had a bone an hour ago. You don't need another bone, right? I try to reason with the dog. And I'm like, do you want pets? And he's like, no. And he runs away.
Touch me.
Don't touch me.
When I was trying to get Phelan and Kina to lose weight, I actually looked into a kind of healthy snacks you can give your dog. And in fact, a friend of community, Chris, helped me with this. Green beans, green bell peppers, and cucumbers.
Well, that's a good idea.
And they loved them because they eat grass, and stuff. So, and there's vegetables. They can eat peas as well in their dog food. Carrots. Give him a carrot to just.
We should definitely do that. Just give him a carrot all his own.
Yeah, just give him a carrot. You can put like a little teeny bit of salt on it if it helps him. But I used to buy bags of cucumbers and peppers and green beans and then I got into carrots later just for them to have like snack in it. For them, it was like big treat time. Like, oh, I get a whole cucumber, and they just their cucumber seeds everywhere. But it was so worth it for their waistline.
That's a really good idea. I didn't actually thought of that. I have given him pickles before, just as a joke. So I was making this bread out of cheese and pickles for a while, and so I was like, give him a pickle. But he was like totally fine with it. Like we thought he was gonna make a face or something. No, he was like, give me more pickles. Yes, pickles, please.
Yeah. Yeah, little bowl of peas. It makes them feel like they're getting an extra meal. But yeah, good stuff.
I'm gonna go get him a carrot tomorrow. We're gonna see what happens.
See what he do.
We're so gifted. And then the 12th, which is way outside of us, that's where you can access it in the inside of your heart, drift out there, go inside, and learn about what's really special about you. There are gifts that we have, Catherine, that we don't have labels for. I think the Hindus called them the Siddhi, S-I-D-D-H-I, like super powerful gifts, but we all have our own special ones. Who knows what they are? I mean, I work with one client who is telepathic. He's a CEO and he's telepathic and he can read the minds of people with Alzheimer's. What a beautiful gift.
Oh, wow.
So we need to be who we are. And so
That
we
is
need to
great.
uncover that. Which
What a
we
cool
can do through our heart
service.
chakra.
Yeah, real.
That's
Can you
very
imagine?
cool.
Oh,
Now, so many people, again, have only heard about the 7 primary chakras. Why do people think that there's only 7?
Well, back in the early 1900s, Sir Arthur Avalon, John Woodruff, he has 2 names, wrote a book. And he wrote a book about the Hindu chakras that caught fire here in the West, in Europe, in America, etc. And in it, he said there were 7 chakras, and that was the Hindu system. Now, he actually didn't say that. He actually said there were 6 chakras, and that this one on the top of the head was sort of just an energy, a spiritual energy center. But what we did with his book is decide there are 7 fixed chakras. Even though in his book, he says, you know, in India, there are chakra systems with only 3 chakras. And I know a physicist who says there's only 3 chakras. And he said there's also energy, you know, systems with dozens of chakras. So we sort of forgot to read everything in his book and we rubber stamped it and said, here's the chakra system. And of course, it's one book about the chakras and we even misquote him. And, you know, now it's become this is it. There's 7 chakras. So a lot of times when I say there's 12 and you might say 26, and some people may say there's 3 Dantians, there's only 3, you know, you're looked at like you're sort of kooky instead of, you know, it's sort of like pick your flavor. What's going to help you the most? I like the 12 because when people are working with their chakras, you can work with your chakras to figure out your personality, what might be wrong in your body, what energies or colors to bring in to enable health and healing. You can use your chakras to figure out how to eat, how to exercise, what your gifts are, what your calling is. I'd rather go with 12 than 7. It's a bigger number to describe who we are.
Yeah, way more information, right?
Totally.
So Cindy Dale, here we are on the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. How do these out-of-body chakras affect our health? Could you go through them one at a time and talk about when they're in balance, you know, what do we experience? And when they're out of balance, what do we experience?
Yes. I'm actually going to start with the 10th chakra underneath the ground because that one activates at preconception.
No kidding.
And then again later when we're in our...
Did she just prove the pro-life people right? If the 10th chakra activates preconception?
I'm not sure what it would attach to. There's no being. There's not even a zygote.
I don't know. Maybe she'll explain herself.
I would have,
Or
you know what? I
30s.
wonder if
So-
I can look it up. See what.
Well, let's just see what she said. Let's just see what she says.
30s, 40s. So it is a really important chakra because it decides how we're going to connect to the earth, to this place that we're born into. So if we don't have a good connection, say our mom didn't want us, or we weren't, you know, kind of welcomed, we didn't get our needs met in the womb, etc. If there's any imbalance, like really early on, that chakra is going to only be partially open,
I have a
or it might be
hypothesis.
bringing in toxins
Okay.
or poisons from...
What's up?
So what it could attach to is the next egg that gets ready.
Okay.
That because it can't attach to the sperm because sperm are random. We don't know which one's going to show up and you know make the connection.
We don't know which one's going to swim the fastest.
Right, right. Sometimes it's not the fastest one that wins, and it shows. Just saying.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering if it kind of starts to attach to. Can you imagine having a root chakra attached to each egg? I mean, truly, women are powerhouses of wonder. We truly are.
Mm-hmm. Man.
From the earth, we might reject organic foods or materials, and
Really?
it's really an
Hmm.
important chakra for what's going to trigger in the body as we age. There's lots of studies that are suggesting that most of the illnesses, mental, emotional, physical, we develop as we age actually get incited or activated in the womb. And they come from what's called our epigenetic material, this chemical soup around our genes that holds our ancestors' memories. Well, guess what? Those are activated because of the 10th chakra in preconception. So lots of illnesses can be autoimmune disorders, Parkinson's, mental imbalances. Obviously, they can come from many causes. I know that, but they can also be tracked back to our ancestors and an incomplete connection to the earth itself. You fix the 10th chakra and you have a good chance, of developing a healthier relationship with the environment and with how you're processing, how you relate to it, what you're eating, how you deal with microbes, your microbiome, your digestion, absolutely, your genetics, everything. So I always like to start with that one because it's really probably the most important, to be honest.
And so many people are so disconnected from the earth.
They are. You know why? Because we don't want to feel the feelings that are down there. So the lower the chakra is in relation to the body, the older the issues it has within it. So our ancestors' issues are like basically in our legs.
What did you just say?
I said interesting. The lower the chakra is in the body, including external of the body, the older the issues are.
That makes sense to me.
I didn't put that together, but yeah, it totally does. I'm going to go use a little goddess room. I'll be right back.
Okay.
In our 10th chakra. And if they had a lot of trauma, we don't even go down in our legs because we don't want to feel their trauma. And, one of the in-body chakras, the first in the hips, that develops when we're in the womb to 6 months, that's going to hold a lot of our feelings, our issues, our traumas, moms and dads. So we tend not to be in our legs, and then we're not connected to the earth. So how are we going to process our food? How are we going to relate? How are we going to breathe and get the oxygen out of the air? How are we going to have a healthy genetic system? So I think the 10 chakras are, and it connects to the bone marrow too, which is of course immunity. It affects our nervous system. When we get startled, when we go through stress, people think it's the adrenals that react first. You know what? It's not. It's the bone marrow. The bone marrow produces a hormone called osteocalcin that tells the adrenals and the limbic system to go haywire. So I love emphasizing the 10th chakra. Get in your legs, get in your feet, get in the earth, put your feet in the ground. It's winter in Minnesota. You don't literally have to do that. Just pretend, right? Put them in a potted palm. I don't care.
Right.
That's the 10th.
And I really would love for our audience to learn about what we can do to balance these chakras. So should we talk about how to balance that, or?
Let's do that. Let's do that with the 10th. Let's do it really simply. In fact, we're going to balance the 9th above the head, the 8th, which is right underneath it, all the rest of the chakras in the body, the legs, and the 10th at the same time. How about that? So 8th again is shaman, 9th is our soul codes. So you don't even have to close your eyes. Obviously, if you're driving and you want to get balanced, you don't close your eyes. And if you're in a meeting and you don't want people to know you're weird, you don't close your eyes. You can close them or not.
True.
But take a couple deep breaths, because that 9th gold chakra locks into the diaphragm. And then ask whatever your source of connection is, spirit, God, your higher self, your doggies, whoever they are.
Dog.
Oh, don't worry about it. Mine will start soon and then we'll have a heyday, 10th chakra heyday. All right. So just ask your connection to send down through your 9th chakra, above your head, a golden stream of energy. Let it go down through the 8th chakra, into the top of your head, all the way down your neck, your spine, through your hips, your legs. And it's just kind of pushing out what's not your energy and activating what's healthy for you. I'm hot while we do this, all the way down through the feet, down into your 10th chakra. It's underneath the ground. Even when you're in an airplane, it's underneath the ground. Just cleans it out. It's going to the inner wheel of the chakra, and it's activating each chakra. It's just bringing beautiful energy from each open, balancing them together, spreading that energy around, and literally surrounding you in this beautiful basking energy of gold. So you're now also energetically protected. Flow, and you're protected. And your dog knows it too.
Mhm. Dogs always know.
Let me call her. Dixie! Dixie!
My dog loves these exercises. They usually sit at my feet.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And, you know, and I would dare say walking barefoot
here's
and
the
being in
culprit.
nature very much help our 10th
Yeah.
chakra.
Go barefoot when you're in your house if you can, you know, or at least with stocking feet. Get outside. And you don't just have to have your feet on the ground for the 10th chakra. You can touch anything earthy. Bring stones around. You have sand. Like my house, I even have sand in my paint in the living room. I mix sand in the paint because I want to feel like I'm living in a forest,
Yeah,
like
that
I'm
dog's
living on
trouble.
the beach. So anything you can do to bring greenery, to bring rocks, to bring wood, to bring nature in and around you is going to work for you. You can go to work in a corporation and have a rock in your pocket, and really, and don't, the shiny ones are pretty, but just use rocks. It's okay to just have rocks. They're more raw. You know, they'll keep you in connection with nature around you as well.
Right. And you mentioned rocks. I understand that smoky quartz is very helpful for that earth star chakra.
Yeah, smoky quartz is really good. It also takes the negativity kind of out of the atmosphere and transmutes it. Around my bed, I have limestone. I have big river rocks. I do all kinds of stuff with logs and stuff that I've toted from around the world because there's different energies from different places on the planet. And so I like to feel like I'm literally part of the earth family. So I have rocks from other places in the world here as well. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to do any of that. I mean, when I look around me, I see a candle, I see sand with river rocks in it, I see 4 or 5 logs over there. I mean, it just keeps us grounded and processing energy in a really positive way.
Right. That's so helpful. And, you know, when you work with people, I find a very large percentage of people are totally ungrounded. You know,
they're not grounded.
They're not grounded. They're, you know, we're on the internet, we're in our heads.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have these deep emotions. Some of them are our own. A lot of them are our parents and our ancestors, or we get them from the world. There's a lot of pain out there. And so a lot of our lower in relation to the body chakras can pick up on what's happening in others, their feelings, their emotions, their physical sensations. So we get too scared to get grounded, to be in our body. But we're only going to be healthy if our soul is all the way in our body. I always like to say, wherever you aren't, something else can be. So
true.
You're not going to wait to clean everything out to like occupy this vessel. If you come all the way in, which you can do with deep breathing, putting your hands on your legs, touching your hips, shaking a little bit, stamping your feet.
Go ahead.
Remember I've said many, many times, if you get rid of something, make sure you fill it with something.
Yeah, real though.
Yeah, the universe abhors a vacuum. And so you might do, I talk a lot about this when I speak about clearing homes or sacred spaces or anything. You get rid of all that negativity, but if you don't seal it and fill it with love and your own energy, that all that shit will come back, including spirits. That's why people go, oh, well, the cleansing didn't work, the spirit's back. It's like, well, yeah, there's a step 2 to that. Same thing with your energy clearing. If you, the way I kind of do it is I look for dark spots and then I either nudge them out, sometimes I fling them out, just whatever works. And then I want to refill that up with white light, or gold light is also a nice one, but whatever feels good for you to fill that back up so you don't have any holes, because it will fill back up with something else. And the dog barking just reminded me of something too. Our pets also have this energy system.
Yes, true. I used to do Reiki when I first got like Reiki level 1 certified. You did it on the dogs all the time.
Yeah. Cats are they're kind of the hardest. They'll sit there for a minute, but they kind of feel like they're better at it than you are. That's one of the things, like they'll lay sometimes where it hurts on you, and you're like, oh, that hurts, get off. They're cat raking you. That's why they know right where to lay and to sit on you when it's and they don't realize you're not comfortable. Get off me. But the
Oh,
cat
you're saying they do it on you.
they'll do it to you. Yeah, cats think they can do Reiki better than we can. So they'll find where it hurts. They'll lay on you, and you're like, oh no, that hurts. And they're like, yes, I know. That's why I'm here, human.
Yeah.
You know, and dogs, they'll receive for a little bit, but yeah, it can be a little intense. You want to be very gentle, work your pets into the energy.
Dogs, so Kobe licks where there's a problem.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Honey actually used to do this too. They would lick where there was like there was like a bug bite or something like that. It was like, but they would like go right to it. But, there's a problem.
Yeah. Well, they can smell it, they can feel it, they can feel the heat off of it, all of that stuff. Yeah, totally. And speaking of, my dogs just woke up from their nap and now they're going to go run outside in the mud. So I got to go let them out.
One of them seems to be sitting on the floor being quiet.
There's one, like a Bodie.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's out.
Anya just got up and rang the bell to go outside. She's and she's not white anymore. She is earth toned.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she's so muddy. It's awful. We've had nothing but rain.
Color.
There's mud on everything in my house right now. Okay, I'll be right back.
Right.
Eat, using your body, walking around, shouting really loud in your car. You know what I mean? Be alive. You'll go in your body, and whatever isn't your energy will exit. So we need to be, we need to move. And so unfortunately, the less grounded we are, the more stuff is in us that's not good for us or that isn't us. And, the more sedentary we get. I find most Americans especially, but also a lot of Westerners, are really kind of only in their body from like their solar plexus chakra up. Which
so
is the
true,
chakra.
actually.
So it's think. And you can't think your way out of a paper bag. I can't anyway. You have to sense your way through reality. So get in the body.
Very, very helpful. Okay, so we've talked about the 10th chakra and how important it is to get grounded, be in all the way. So where do we go next to understand about our health?
Well, let me talk a little bit about 8th, 9th, and 11th in particular. So 8 is on the top of the head, a little bit above, but also in your thymus. You know what your thymus is about? Your immune system. It produces, immune hormones, etc. It tends to be not very active from about age, 2, 10 or so on. So breathe into your thymus and simultaneously connect with the other part of itself, the energy center above the head. And that's the place where if you're like questioning, how come I have this issue? Just relate to that chakra and in will pop an answer about what happened in your history. Or if you're worried about something that might happen, connect into one or two or both of those two places and say, what's the possibility that this might happen versus this might happen? I do all my mystical musings through the 8th chakra, and I connect to guides. So you can connect to otherworldly beings and characters and get guidance just by focusing on that chakra, again, here, up here, or both places. Ask a question and be open to receive an answer. You know what? It may not come right away. We're sort of into instant mixes in our Western culture, aren't we? Give it a couple days. Ask a question, open or sense that 8th chakra. Ask a question.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't want to wait. I want the answer now. I want it now. I don't want it tomorrow. I don't want to wait 2 days. If I'm asking Spirit with a question, Spirit should be able to give me an answer now. An otherworldly being should be able to deliver an answer now.
I think she's looking for chakra communication, whereas there are faster ways like tarot.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm like, I'll pull cards in a tarot reading. It's fine.
Yeah.
Question, give it up to the universe, and then give it a day or two to get a sign or a dream or an omen or an indication. And 9th chakra is a little harder to understand. That's that 9th one above the head. But I think I probably gave you the easiest exercise to use for that one. Bring energy down through it. Aim it wherever you have a lack of comfortability, physically, psychologically, spiritually. It will bring into you the codes you need to be what you're supposed to be. And then I love, this thing with the 11th chakra. I'm sort of infatuated with it because so many of us haven't been raised in a culture where we have been taught or shown that we can actually command, if we have the gift, right? But to some level, we can command natural forces. We can command supernatural forces. Natural forces are those about the elements, air, water, fire, etc. I mean, it's not like we're supposed to be arsonists, right? And go, let there be a fire and burn down the house.
Carrie.
It's more, I'm cold. I want to get warmer. Let me command fire element in and through my body. Or I have an inflamed area around my elbow. And so what do I need there to cool it down? Maybe I command in water and cool that area down. So we can start to play with the chakra that way for many different reasons, as well as when we're talking about supernatural forces. Here's the simplest tip I can give you for supernatural forces. There are two main kinds. There are degenerative forces, they're big but invisible, and generative forces, and they're big but invisible. A lot of times when a problem won't go away is because we have on it the wrong kind of force. So tumor, let's pretend there's a tumor. In fact, I was teaching a class last weekend and I showed the class, we worked on somebody's tumor, like a lipoma, a fatty
This
tissue.
is not medical
It
advice.
reduced in front of us, literally reduced. Part of all we really did is I just put a degenerative force on it, which takes away, and the tumor shrunk. That was it. It's just a force.
Okay, pause here.
So we want to degenerate forces.
There you go.
So she is talking about some very advanced healing techniques, and that is what psychic surgery is when you can control the elements or molecules or atoms of an unwanted thing like a tumor and literally shrink it. There are some people who claim to be able to heal cancer with this and various other things. Well, this is not medical advice.
Nope.
She and this is not basic Reiki either. There are a lot of people who will go Reiki people when they are, say, in a cancer ward and things. And one thing my master said is that sometimes Reiki energy will do what is the most necessary and most healing thing for that body. And sometimes that is to pass on. So sometimes if you Reiki someone, it might actually hasten their passing on, because that is the best thing for them. Just be aware and be careful. Sometimes it's the best thing is to reverse the issue in the body and have them heal and come back and be perfectly fine. And that's great. But if their number's punched and it's the end of their agreement with this physical plane in this incarnation, you are going to help them pass. So that is a part of the responsibility of being a Reiki and energy worker. But again, don't just think, oh, I have this issue or I have this disease or this ailment. I'm just gonna send energy to it. That is very irresponsible, because you do not know what you're sending. If you're just gonna send energy to something, it might be the wrong form. You could be adding to the problem. So educate yourself if you want to learn what she's talking about. Learn as much as you can, practice, and then apply. But be very careful. It's not a Ouija board.
This isn't fun and games. No messing around.
Yeah.
Remember, karma will bite your ass.
Well, that and just be energetically responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just go flinging your energy into shit. Understand what you're doing.
I sometimes fling my energy into shit, Jennifer. I don't even know if you noticed. I sometimes do that.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. You've been spicy this last few days, so
whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Cancer. We want to generate money or happy thoughts or healthy tissue. So you can just do it with simple intention, connect with your higher self, connect with whatever it is you call the creator, and work with the natural flow, because I think most of us have learned we don't want to command something that's like nasty, right? You really don't want your karma working against you.
Nope.
So as tempting as it might be to kind of throw something bad on somebody because you're mad at them, it'd be better to degenerate your anger rather than generate a problem for them.
You know, Cindy, I always say the most selfish thing I could ever do is be kind and generous to everybody, because whatever I put out is going to come back.
It comes back.
You know
it
what?
does, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
I talked about so a different angle on this. That's true though. Like if you're kind, if you send love out into the world, like you will get love back. If you send it out with like no expectation, and I know that's something like you've experimented with like many times, right?
Mhm.
So I was thinking about it in terms of like I find that the way I can fuck with people the most sometimes is literally just to play it straight. It really is. It's like it messes with people though. They don't know how to like if I literally say, this is what I think and this is what I want and if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I don't like and you just put it out there kind of without expectation. You're like, here is what I think and here is what I want out of this situation. And I'm just gonna go over here. And if you want to come over here and talk about it, that's cool. And if not, that's fine too. And if you just like literally put stuff out there like that and you're totally real and you're totally authentic, it totally messes with the other person and they don't know how to receive it.
Oh, totally. Yeah, exactly. I had an experience with a guy that I was seeing, and I did something rather rash. I dumped a drink over his head, and
I love it.
it's a long story. I won't say why. Let's just say I was very angry.
Probably deserved
And
it for something.
yeah, oh, he did. But he had a friend with him, a gal friend with him, and she was he got up, he was like, and he got up and he went to the bathroom. And he came back and she came at me with him. She was like, "What are you doing? Who does that? Who spells a dream?" And she just went at me, and I stood there and I almost started laughing. I just kind of I centered real fast and I went, "Thank you for that." And she looked at me and I said, "That's so cool that you stood up for your friend. You know how rare that is? I love that you did that." And she was like, and it just stormed off. And the guy was like, "I see what you did there." And he was not mad at me at all, by the way. And we're actually still friends to this day. But it was awesome. I didn't mean to disarm her. I was just like really admired that. Like, I hope I have friends that stand up for me like you just did. That's cool.
No, I love that, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's actually kind of like looking at the situation from a detached perspective and going,
Yeah.
you know what, this, good for you, bro. Honestly, like, good for you. That was like really great. And it's like I think people are so used to being like manipulated, or they're so used to people coming at them to try to like exert power over them, that when you're just like, hey, here's what I think. Fuck you. But if you want to hang out, I'm over here. Like whatever it is, it's like you're just doing it with like no pressure, no manipulation. That people don't know how to, and isn't that like kind of a sad state of affairs in commentary?
That we're just used to butting heads and trying to overtake each other.
Yeah, it's like when someone is like not like doing like a power play thing and they're just saying, all right, here's what I think, bro. And like it's like they're like waiting, they're like, what's next?
Yeah.
And then they psych
yeah.
well, but then what happens is they psych themselves out, and then it's like a total like 8 of Swords moment where they create the prison. Like you haven't done anything.
Yeah.
You haven't tried to force them to do nothing, but they're like, eh.
Well, it's energy kung fu. I mean, the art of a lot of martial arts is to take the momentum of your energy and use it against them. And their own force flings their body, and you're just standing there like, bye. So you just take that, suck that momentum right out, let them trip themselves up. And there was I saw this one thing about a kung fu master and this big muscle guy, and they were going head to head in this, like, I don't know what competition, what kind of martial art they were practicing. And this guy was making fun of him and like rubbed his little bald head. This guy's wearing nothing but an orange robe, right? And he's old too, and he's just standing there like this. And this guy's like, "Oh, aren't you cute? Aren't you cute?" And the guy just like, it was so fast, if you blink, you missed it. All of a sudden, his ankles were up around this guy's neck, and he had him on the floor. He was like, "Shika-boom." I'm like, wow. Never underestimate people, dude. Never. And again, it's all about deflection and again, authenticity, especially since we're getting back into energy. And I totally went on a tangent. I just thought it was cool as hell.
No, I love that. I think that's great. But it's like part of me, anytime I've done that, and it's kind of rare that I do that because it doesn't really benefit me to show my cards to someone. But it's also like the people that I have done that with, I'm like, do they even realize that I'm just being real right now and I'm actually not trying? So I'm like, I question that, but it's also like I kind of hope they step up sometimes and they just let it be, and they just let it be what it is, and they don't try to fight it, but they fight it every single time. And I'm like, all right, well, fine.
Fine. It's like that moment. It's okay. oh, don't do this to me, bro. No, really, it's okay. Don't do it to me, bro. It's
That's
okay.
exactly what it is, though. It's like they're
Mhm.
having all these feelings. You're like, no, bro, it's fine.
It's
It's fine.
okay.
We're
Oh
cool.
God, yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Relax.
Yeah, so
I
that's how you're sounding
go.
selfish, is be nice to everybody, because then
Yeah.
that's what you get.
And
Right?
guess what? You feel better. You're happier, you're healthier. Literally, they've had studies that show then your heart runs your body and everything works really well, and you sleep better, and you make more money, you have more friends. I mean, it is really selfish, isn't it? It's a good selfish.
Good,
Excellent.
exactly. That's the true meaning of selfish, because that's when you get.
That's what it is.
That's what, okay. So we've talked about 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yeah.
And what about 12? How
Well,
does the 12th chakra affect our
This
health?
is what I encourage people to do. And if you want to take a minute and do it right now, that's great. The 12th is sort of iridescent and it's all the way around us, but it also connects into and through our body. So take a moment, because you can access it very cleanly in the very middle of your heart chakra. So here in the middle of your chest, under your sternum, there's sort of a hollow space that's filled with your own spirit, your own essence. Breathe into there and imagine that that's the core of your 12th chakra. That's the core of your spirit internalized.
Wow.
And your 12th chakra is your own essence externalized. And so here in this quiet space, this full space, this beautiful imprint of self, just start to get an inkling of what makes you truly unique. Maybe you get a sense, a memory, a vision, a feeling, a message about some very unique special gift that's particular to your spirit and only your spirit, something only you can do. And you may just have a sense of it right now. Whatever it is you get, just ask your spirit to let that knowledge grow so you can more and increasingly and more lovingly bring that into the world.
Yeah.
So that's yourself.
Yeah. You know, I tell everybody you're already a VIP. You're a
They are.
you're a vibrational interference pattern. And your energy is unique to you, right?
Yes, we are the only we are the only I. We are the only you that is.
Yes. And so once you realize that all you really have to do is be you, just be the best you.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
Cindy's not here to be me.
No.
You're not here to be either one of us. You're here to be you.
Exactly.
Just really, dive into that unique vibrational interference pattern that you are and shine your light, right?
Exactly. That's the theme. I've been a big proponent of the 12-step programs, Al-Anon, etc. And I love it that they talk about how if you think about giving advice, don't. You can only say, this is what I would do, or this is how I feel, because you need to give space for that person to be who they are, because those answers are inside of them. They're not outside. But we can help each other. Of course, we help each other all the time.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Now, Cindy, as you know, we can balance our chakras. And in natural healing, we talk about things like yoga can balance your chakras, or Tai Chi or Qigong, or receiving energy healing like Reiki can balance our chakras.
Yeah.
What are some of the ways that we can balance these out-of-body chakras?
Well, you can use the same practices to do that. All you need to do is know that you're bigger than the chakras, like under and right outside of your skin. So if you can perceive yourself as being more of what the shamans call being in an energy egg, we don't end here. We don't end there. We're very much actually an open system. We're just made out of fields of light and sound. Okay. I mean, and there's vortexes of light and sound that are ours outside of here. So when I'm breathing, whether I'm doing yoga or Tai Chi or walking or meditating or taking a couple deep breaths to gather myself or to feel my feet on the ground or, you know, whatever it might be, I just acknowledge, you know,
Karlyn,
really, really quickly, all the chakras. I don't know.
she just reminded me of a phrase. I could feel you coming. I could feel you, you know, like when you can feel someone's energy before they walk into the room.
Yep.
And you're like, that's, you know, and that's what she's talking about. We have all, that's how big we are. Like our energy
That's
enters
crazy.
the room before we do. And we actually are feeling them coming. We feel them like walking in. You're to get that little, whoa, okay, that's so and so. Especially if you have a connection with that person,
Yeah.
even if it's a bad connection. Especially if it's a bad connection. Sometimes
it's like when you know something bad is about to happen, where when like literally you're just sitting there, nothing has happened, but you know something bad is coming, and then that bad walks into the room.
yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, yeah, got it.
Or your phone chimes and you're like,
Fine.
fuck, I know this is gonna be bad. Yeah.
And then you ignore the text message for 3 days and you don't deal with it, and eventually maybe you answer it. Maybe not.
Number in my head that takes too long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it's sort of like you just get a sense of all of you. You acknowledge all of you, say at the beginning of a yoga class, or at the beginning of a stretch, or before you go swimming, or even before you read a poem, you know, or listen to music. You know, just acknowledge that you're bigger than the chakras that just emanate from the spine. And you know what? You'll feel a lot less trapped as a human being. You're going to feel your bigness and your ease and your access to other planes of existence, and the presence of other helpers, invisible beings who can always be there, and your connection to the earth and the stars. And suddenly there's a community that goes beyond, you know, the human community we might be next to. There's a whole community that we can connect with when we just acknowledge before we do something that's balancing or fulfilling for ourselves. We get so much bigger. And so we can be given so much more. We can give more and get more too.
I just love that advice. Yes. And, you know, a friend of mine says, you know, every morning when she takes a shower, she just imagines the water is cleaning not just her physical, but her energy system. And then she visualizes the colors of all these chakras.
Beautiful.
And now that you know about the extra chakras, and you can visualize these colors, right?
Yep, do the same thing. Yep. Or just rub your hands together, you know, with that intention that you're going to bring energy into them for all your chakras. Rub your hands together, open them up, and whatever those chakras need to energize in or outside of the body, just spread around.
Huh.
Right. Now, Cindy Dale, you know, master energy medicine healer.
That's
As
the
you
Miyagi
know, our
move.
chakras can
Yeah,
either be
real.
open or closed, and they can be congested or even damaged. What are some of the common causes of chakra dysfunctions?
Well, most of us emerge from childhood with damaged, perforated, shrunk, too open, too closed chakras, etc. Because our chakras, one of their jobs is to help us adapt to the environment. And so if dad's always angry, maybe through our feeling chakra, we take in dad's angry to help him not be so angry. And then we walk around the world and we absorb everybody's anger. So we wonder why we're always tired, or we wonder why we're always angry, or whatever. So whatever we're exposed to when we're little kids, and however our chakras adapt to it, we're going to go into our junior high, teen years, etc., with compensation. So for instance, if mom never had any energy, there's 6 kids, you're the oldest, you might have given her some of your life energy or your 10th chakra energy. And then for the rest of your life, you just unknowingly give other people your life energy. So you wonder why you're always fatigued or sick
So
or tired.
true.
So I typically look to childhood for a lot of that. But of course, our own behaviors as we go into adulthood make a big difference. So different substances impact different chakras in different ways. So the first chakra in the hip, for instance, is very vulnerable to the hardcore drugs, that it often gets really dismantled and puny, and exhausted if we do anything from hard alcohol to cocaine, etc. And if we're doing some of those kind of substances because we're looking for a high, well, in a weird way, we get a high. What happens is we get this, you and I talked about it before we started our call, this sort of cloudy substance above our head. So we're not really getting these great psychedelic experiences. We're just attracting entities or negative energies or negative forces or pictures from other people or fantasies and nightmares, to cling to us. So anything that's not really us can damage a chakra or multiple chakras.
Right. And for our audience, before Cindy, Dale, and I got on our recording, I was talking about how what I see is that when people do what I call stupid drugs, and I'm talking marijuana, a lot of people think, oh, legalize marijuana. Well, and Cindy and
Weed is not a stupid drug.
Energy
No, fuck
Yeah,
you
we're
guys.
going to disagree on that one for sure later.
Fuck you guys.
Literally
Fuck
clouds
you
your
guys.
energy field. And cocaine and heroin and all these horrible drugs. Yes, they damage your body, but they're creating this energetic debris. And what that does, from my experience, it creates this cloud in your energy field. You're not able to connect to your soul guidance. Right? You're not clear. Literally, you're not clear.
I disagree.
As Harry Potter would say, you're
I am sorry. I'm never more psychic than when I'm smoking weed. Never. Yeah. It's never easier for me to connect with things. It's never easier for me to receive information. Never more psychic than with weed.
Yep. No, I agree. It helps. Sometimes it helps drop the veil.
Yeah.
And lots of substances do. Look what I just finished. My first placemat.
Ooh, that's really pretty, Jennifer. It goes perfectly with the colors in your house too.
Yeah, for now, until I change my house. But yeah, I think
and then you get to move to a new house, and then you get to paint it again. And if you don't have those colors, you can make new placemats. It'll be fine.
No, I think I'm gonna try and keep these colors around me. They're good. They're good for my kitchen stuff. So, it all matches. It'll work out.
It's like a rich, like terracotta sort of thing. It's a good color. Yeah, it's really pretty.
It's got some blue and yellow in it as well, and some lavender. Yeah, I love these colors. They're my kitchen colors, so I'll just take them with me. Yay!
Stupefied. And that can happen if you eat too much sugar, or drink too much. I mean, wine really impacts the heart chakra. Different chakras, different things. I have nothing against somebody having a glass of wine to be in communion, but a lot of times people go for the wine because they're really lonely. And then guess what? That heart chakra actually shrinks. And they feel more lonely. Smoking does the same thing. So different chakras are impacted by different substances and different behaviors too.
Right. And so many people come to me because they want to open their intuition and they want to use their intuition more. Well, you can't use your intuition if your energy field is clouded by all these stupid drugs.
Exactly. Or grief. A lot of times when we have a lot of grief and we haven't felt it, it's like a drug around the system too. It's like a drug that puts us in a stupor and we can't connect to spirit. For instance, a lot of times when somebody loses a loved one, if they don't grieve, the grief is a cloud and they want to connect to the deceased. They can't because that grief is a cloud. Now that's a good protective sort of buffer, immediately when they have to do their feelings.
Go ahead.
Low key, they just kind of insulted most Native Americans and their shamanic practices, and any of those tribes living in the Amazon, and all that stuff. It's like, I just don't do any drugs. Stuff your energy. Okay, you sound as bad as someone telling me I need to get some Jesus. Everybody calm down. We all have our different ways and methods.
Like, don't tell me I can't do ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is a plant and a vine. Yeah. It is in nature. Don't tell me I can't smoke a flower. Where do you think that flower came from and why do you think it's here? Now I'm not talking like I do have to agree with I've never really done like hard drugs. Like, I don't know. I imagine it'd be pretty difficult on cocaine or like heroin or things. I imagine that would not be ideal. I also know that I don't do any of this stuff when I'm drinking alcohol, even just beer, because it's just like I can't do it. Like, I don't think it's the right time to do it. I'm not the right energy to do it. That is not the right place. But You know,
I
there
do
are
a
other
little
things to
bit.
find.
I don't mind doing some psychic work and stuff when I'm drinking, just because that is for me. I'm not as comfortable with the energy of weed as I am with the energy of alcohol. For me,
All of our
that
things.
yeah, it's kind of whatever works. Is the thing I think that's the most important thing to remember is keeping things in balance. Not to
Yes.
get too much. Don't rely on it. If you cannot have any intuition or psychic moments unless you're doing a substance, there might be a
Cannot do it.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should learn to do it without it first, and then
Yes. Yeah.
try enhancing it and seeing what happens.
See if you can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Before they reach to the other side. But something will, you know, whatever we don't process lingers in a chakra and or in our energy field too.
Right. And I have to ask your professional opinion about psychiatric medication. And, you know, for our audience, we have no judgment, okay? And everybody's on their path. But, you know, in the US, I think something like 12% of the population uses antidepressants.
That's crazy.
Books are about how to heal depression without drugs.
That is,
so
man, that was one of the first big falling outs I had with like the group of women that I was friends with before I left the left. And there were all these women and they were all over the country and we called ourselves the kittens. I actually have a kitten emoji tattoo on my ankle because I got it with these women. I was friends with them for a long time. And we all met in like higher education at this one conference that I used to go. I went to this conference every year for 10 years and all this stuff. And we had this group on Facebook. And so we were communicating this group on Facebook back and forth. And this was when I was like, I really got into spiritual stuff between, it would have been it would have started in 2015 because then I went to Peru in 2016. So it was around that time, like a couple years after that. And I was just getting like better and better and better. And I was like growing and I was evolving away from all the higher ed stuff at that point because I was really focused on my consulting practice. And I used to, they would come into this Facebook group and they would just be depressed like all the time. And they would all be feeding each other's misery. And then they all started talking about all the antidepressants that they were on and all this and all that. And I was like trying to be like, you guys know, I'm learning how to meditate and these are the benefits that I'm seeing from meditation. And here's some meditations that I'm doing. And maybe do any of you want to try these meditations? Because maybe it would be better than being on psychiatric medication for the rest of your life. And you can't say that last one too often. You have to reserve that one for the right moment, because the minute that you say that one, they're going to go, me, how dare you, and me.
Yeah.
And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I would be like, hey guys, I did this plant medicine in Peru and it really had all these benefits. And here's a website where maybe you can try this. And here's something. They did not like this shit at all. And I think that was like the downfall of my relationship with them, was like trying to be like, you don't have to be on antidepressants for the rest of your life.
No. Well, that just shows you that most people don't want to do the work. They want to fix.
Yeah,
they
totally.
don't want to heal. And I just looked it up. Let's see. Women are most likely to be on antidepressants. This is from 2020 to 2021. So peak. Well, let's see. When did this come out? Well, anyway, it's 16.5% versus men at 8.6%. Increasing with age. 60 and over report almost 20% of 60 and over on antidepressants. That's huge. Let's see, it goes through ethnic groups. Let's skip that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but yeah, the average is around 12.7%. I thought that was low too, Reagan, because I think she was like, that seems low. I'm like, yeah, that seemed low to me. Antidepressants among young adults is also increasing significantly, especially during the COVID era. But then people get kind of stuck on it. You know, I think after COVID, people are like, they didn't know what to do, if they should get off their antidepressants or whatever else they were taking, you know, to help them cope. It's like that whole era really fucked up people so bad.
I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I used to go outside every day. I used to go work out every fucking day. Like I was at the gym every day. I would leave. I would have a life. I wouldn't feel awkward outside around people. Like, and I kind of wonder, like, of course, like my intervening COVID years was different than other people's in that I got sucked into a job on the internet, which is its own different culture. But I'm like, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to travel. I used to travel all the time. I used to be flying somewhere at least once a month, if not several times a month. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to go to the store. I don't want to go shopping. I don't want to do any of this stuff anymore. I was like, COVID did this to me, honestly.
Oh, yeah. It affected a lot of people. Well, and I think also we got so safe in our speaking energetically in our little cocoons here where it is safe and we don't have anybody else's energy bumping up against us and sticking to us, and we're not giving anything away necessarily. We might be like in the form of this forum where we would be giving to the audience is giving to us in a virtual way, but energy can travel anywhere. So we're still doing that, but it's not a physical experience like walking through a mall and just raking in everybody else's stuff, having it stick to you and your shit sticking to them, then their shit sticking to you. And like, that's what I think. One of the early interviews with her, with Cindy Dale, was somebody had likened it to a harvester at a farm. You know, that they have those big arms out on either side that just harvest the grain and it sucks it up. And that's like how our aura is. Because if you stick your hands out to your sides, you haven't even touched the end of your aura.
Yeah.
Think about crowded subways, crowded living, crowded cities, crowded anything that's, you know, has lots of people together. Like if you're there for too long, you get aggravated, especially if you're sensitive in any way. So
I've only been to one mall since the pandemic, and it just happened to be like I was going undercover at my first conference and I stayed at a hotel literally right next to the mall. So I was like, I'm going to walk over to the mall. It was the most miserable fucking experience of my life. It really was. And this was in like right outside Springfield, Massachusetts. So it's also not the best area, if I'm being honest about it. So it's not like the highest brow mall consumer coming in. And it's just like, man, I never want to do this again. I used to love walking around the mall, even if just just to walk around to see what's going on, to see what's in the stores. You know, you just like just looking around. It's just like, I cannot do it anymore. It sucks.
People are getting increasingly miserable, and also not just because of what happened during COVID, but also because now I think a lot of us have a little mental tape playing about judgment. Who's judging me? Am I judging you? Are you a Trump supporter? Are you not a Trump supporter? Are you part of those people? Does that person hate me because of the color of my skin? You know, like we have a lot of more recordings happening that we didn't have before because of all the ridiculousness going on. There are ways of shielding. I won't go into them now, but there are ways of shielding to protect you from that so you don't get that stuff stuck to you. Think of it as energetic Teflon, and that does help quite a lot. And you know, look into it, everybody, because it really does help. And even at work, because we spend 8 hours a day at work. You know, if you're working in an office, all our shit gets
I used to
blocks.
Yeah, I it's really good advice. I used to always shield when I was going to go to airports and stuff like that. And I had this thing where I would imagine just like this giant bubble of like white light around me. And it was the coolest thing because even in really crowded airports, pretty much no one bumped into me. I just walked through the airport, like imagining myself in this giant bubble, and people stayed at a perimeter like all the time. It was great.
Yeah, totally. Whenever I do shielding work, I notice that when people are going to walk in front of me, like say at the grocery store, I notice that they'll stop and apologize as they go, and if they have to cross me in any way, they're like, people are just like nicer, like they can feel it. You can feel the shit. Everybody can sense energy. It's just not, you can't, maybe they're not defining it the way we do. They're not as aware of it, but people can feel that stuff.
Yep, true.
How do the psychiatric medications affect the energy field in your
first of all, they're limiting. They limit the energy field. So let's say you take an SSRI like Prozac. And I have a friend who's been on Prozac 30 years and it works for her. And it's like, stay on the Prozac because we're also made out of chemistry. So if our body can't make something, give it to it. So that's why we eat, because we can't manufacture magnesium. We have to bring it in, etc. But they're also very limiting. They limit the chakra. They close it down. They tend to close it out, or they can blow it open also. And whatever you impact one chakra, you limit the others, or you blow open another one as well. So they tend to be very, very, very limiting. And that's what's sad. When my mom died, she died a few months ago. I went to my OBGYN, who's an OBGYN, not a psychiatrist, right? I said, my mom just died. She said, have you gone through anything big? And I said, my mom just died. And she asked if I wanted meds. She said, do you want a prescription med? And I'm like, maybe I should just cry.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to cry. Maybe I need to be with this. Maybe I need to be in my body. Maybe I need to create a memory book. Maybe I don't need to shut it off, because too often we're shutting something off. And if we do use these meds, they tend to only be effective at any rate, very short term. There's lots of studies, even from a medical point of view, that, for instance, running can be more effective than an SSRI. Meditation and hopefulness can be more effective, than an anti-anxiety med. So we have a subtle energy system that can help us maybe not reach for meds, because instead we can reach for a spirit to help us, or figure out what herb to take, or how to be in our bodies in a better way, or where our traumatized self is, so we can process and help that inner child, or we can remember a past life that might be impacting us. We don't want to dumb down. It's really just, let's not dumb down.
Let's not dumb down. And, that's what we're all about here at the Natural Healing Show, is teaching people, how do you handle life in a natural way? And, Cindy mentioned exercise. Really, that's what motivates me. I exercise an hour a day. I went to the gym today. I teach yoga. I do Qigong. I walk my dog in the park. And the research is that, there was a study done at Duke University. They had 3 groups. A group that exercised, a group that took antidepressants, and a group that took antidepressants and exercise. Short-term exercise alone is as effective as the drugs. Long-term exercise alone is more effective for treating depression than even exercise and drugs. So exercise is very, very huge.
Because exercise makes drugs in our body. We have 7 joy molecules: adrenaline, dopamine, endocannabinoids, oxytocin. We have molecules in the body that do what meds are so-called doing. So you move around, you eat right, you spend time.
What'd you just say?
That's a decent point. We are kind of a walking, talking chemistry lab.
It is, but sometimes we just don't want to hear things, Jennifer.
It's true.
Sometimes we don't want to hear it.
If you have a true, genuine, bona fide imbalance, you do need help. I'm not criticizing people who take medications, but yeah, I mean, there's always way you can work with things in many different ways. There are many different pathways.
Yeah.
With a loved one, you get a pet, they're really good for those bonding hormones.
There's that dog again.
Absolutely.
Dog is back.
So
all the pets that everybody gave up because they couldn't take care of them after COVID.
About the
Really, seriously. Not cool, man. Not cool.
Out-of-body chakras. And of course, you can read Cindy's 1,200 page book, the Llewellyn's Complete Book of Chakras. So if you miss something,
or you can just Google Cindy Dale 12 chakra system and it'll pop up too. And that's far cheaper and easier to carry around. Yeah. Just get to know these parts of yourself. They're your centers. They afford you grounding, outreach, spiritual guidance, unique gifts, and enjoy them, and, kind of share what you know with other people.
You've been listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Kerrigan, medical intuitive healer and Amazon #1 bestselling author. You can find out more about me and my work at Catherine.
I think that's it. I think it was a good episode on chakras, Jennifer. I had a good time tonight. It was good. It was nice to review. I haven't talked about chakras in a long time.
Yeah, me neither. Well, and it's been a minute since I've studied. And there's, sometimes you can get confused and get your wires crossed. And so, yeah, it was good to kind of revisit. Every now and then I will look stuff up because I can feel that I'm getting a message from a chakra system. And it's like, okay, what's going on? And then I'll go, wait, was that? Is it this chakra or that chakra? Let me clarify. just clarify for me. And yeah, it always helps though. And you learn something about yourself too.
Yeah, I do think everyone having like a basic understanding of their chakras, and just even practicing just like noticing your chakras, just like, like I'm thinking about my root chakra and you can see it spinning and all this stuff and maybe lighting up in whatever color, and just think about it for like a couple minutes a day, and like that's enough to start activating them when you first start.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
There's a lot of benefits to it.
All right. Well, next week will be my week. And per usual, I have absolutely no plan and I don't know what we're going to be doing. But you know what? Spirit is going to move me because I'm going to balance my chakras this week as a special a gift from this class, I suppose. And so we're gonna find out what I'm doing when we find out. I will remind people we do have a spy stream. Jennifer, do you know what we're watching on the stream tomorrow? Do you know what we're watching on my stream? You should Jennifer, you should make a special effort to come to my 5 p.m. stream tomorrow if you can.
Oh god, I have 12 stories I have to grade tomorrow. I don't know if I can.
But we're having it's gonna be great though. We're watching fat studies.
Oh dear.
We're watching critical fat studies, and it's going to be awesome. And I found a great presentation from a publicly funded university.
Oh my god. I don't know if I can take the crazy.
See, everyone knows. Like, it's like people, like, some people don't get it. They're like, oh, it's just like like you don't cover crazy shit every day. I'm like, you don't understand. This is fat studies, okay?
That's fat studies. Oh, John, it's not a vortice. It's vortices, which is the plural of vortex. So calm down. That's an in joke. That's an in joke.
So we'll be doing fat studies tomorrow, and then we have a Tootsie and My Fair Lady movie.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why you thought that was funny, and I'm like, I guess it's because you're taking somebody and transforming them into a lady.
Yeah,
maybe that's the correlation.
I thought it was a just a nice. I don't know. It has a nice cadence to it for some reason.
Yeah, it really could. I can see that. Yeah, but Dustin Hoffman, of course, plays a self-made woman. And it's a wonderful classic from the 80s about an out-of-work actor, and it makes fun of a lot of things that we probably couldn't make fun of anymore today, but it also has a lot of heartstring tugs. It's a lovely movie, and of course Dustin Hoffman is awesome, and I'm fully aware that I probably chose the two most unflattering men to become women for the first two Jolly June movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Dustin Hoffman.
Well, technically Arnold didn't become a woman, he just gave birth.
No, he just gave birth, but he did dress up as one for when he went to the birthing camp, and it was I think a lot of people can't unsee that ever. So
these movies can never be made again today, though.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way. But that's why we need to laugh at them and be thankful that we had an era that celebrated all the things that we can make fun of each other and laugh, and it was okay. And we weren't trying to be mean. We're just having a good time.
You know what? I really think that AI is going to democratize movie making. And yeah, sure, we're going to get a lot of shit movies from AI. I understand that. But you can also imagine that just like this kind of fucking rebellious Gen X guy is going to be like tinkering around with it, and he's going to end up making this fucking great 80s movie that's just got like that reverence of like the 80s and the early 90s, and it just doesn't give a fuck. You just know stuff like that is going to happen just from some guy tinkering around in his free time, and he's just sick of this shit, and he doesn't want to deal with it anymore, and he makes like one of the greatest movies ever made from AI because of this.
The next Blazing Saddles or something.
Yeah. For real. And we got My Fair Lady on Monday night for MaxB. We had an excellent turnout last night for MacB's movie night, and so I hope everyone continues to go. Apparently, I just need to do a spy stream right before his movie nights instead of doing community Zoom, and and then direct everyone there. But we had a great time last night, and Passion of the Christ was an awesome movie per usual.
It was a good movie.
All right. Well, that's all we have, guys. I'm going to be signing off. I will see you tomorrow for Fat Studies Wednesday, and it's going to be awesome and amazing and everything. And
we'll all feel smarter because of being there.
We will all be incredibly smarter, and this is not at all masochistic, and we will not be traumatized at all in the viewing of this training. It's going to be great.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing could go wrong. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye.